A hooded figure cuts through the gloom of a back alley. Totally sketchy vibes. Two thugs chilling on the steps track his movement. One hawks a loogie, trying to start beef, but he misses. The spit splatters right next to his buddy's sneaker. Buddy loses it, screaming curses. But the hooded guy, he ghosts them. Doesn't even flinch, just keeps walking. This is the studio district. It's loud, it's nasty, and it never sleeps. Just pure urban decay, 24/7. And hidden in this mess is a microscopic, 180 square foot rooftop shack. Home sweet hell. Our guy stares at his dinner, instant ramen. Again, total despair. Meet Bong Joo-hyuk, 25 years old, technically unemployed, but actually grinding 3 part-time gigs, convenience store, barbecue joint, and manual labor. The full misery package. Yeah, this tired soul is our protagonist. He works like a dog, hustles non-stop, but his bank account? Still zero. Why? Massive, crushing debt. He's drowning in it, forced to pay it back or else. No special talents, no cheat codes. Just a warm body for labor, no bright future, no hope. He's dwelling on his pathetic, bottom-feeder existence when suddenly, boom, a holographic screen pops up. Awakened. He freezes mid-slurp, noodles dangling from his lips like an idiot. Pure shock. Eyes bulging, cold sweat dripping. The burning hot soup snaps him back to reality, and splash. He drops the bowl, ramen everywhere. He screams, totally losing it. Not excitement, terror. Usually, awakening is the ultimate golden ticket. A chance to hit the jackpot and pull a total life reset. Better odds than winning the Powerball. But here's the kicker. You can't spend the cash if you're dead. The towers are death traps. Monsters ripping you to shreds? Standard. You could freeze to death, burn alive, or choke on poison gas. Not to mention hidden traps, waiting to crush you flat. Joo-hyuk isn't a hero. If he sees trouble, he looks the other way. He dodges danger like the plague. The guy won't even walk near a construction zone. Safety first, always. He knows he's a nobody, a bottom feeder. He's survived 25 years by being invisible, and now the universe says, congrats, you're an awakened. He doesn't buy it. Obviously, he thinks he's hallucinating from exhaustion. Just a dream, right? He whispers, status window, and it's real. Affiliation, Black Tower, Korea. Level 1. Trait, summon. He has 1 summon slot open. The skill tree, targeted summon, random summon, and dismiss. Plus, a daily tower entry pass and an inventory system. Seeing the grid, the denial fades. This is actually happening. In this world, traits define you. You got the classics. Swordsmanship, spearmanship, shield arts, archery, martial arts, even crazy stuff like gigantification or healing. Then there's summoning. Usually, that means controlling spirits, phantom beasts, or golems. Maybe even demonic beasts. Basically, you're the commander of a personal monster army. Joo-hyuk starts wondering, what kind of beastmaster is he destined to be? Time to test the powers. He strikes a dramatic pose, channeling his inner anime protagonist, and yells, summon, crickets. Absolutely nothing happens. Cringing hard, he tries again. Random summon, still 0. Then it hits him. Duh. Skills only work inside the tower. That's rule number 1. You can't cast magic in the real world. Outside the tower, players are just regular civilians with a fancy menu screen. Every keyboard warrior on the internet knows that. He feels like a total moron. Case closed. There is no way a skill activates out here. Impossible. Unexpectedly, ping. The screen flashes, initializing random summon. Joo-hyuk's eyes almost pop out of his skull. A dimensional door rips open in thin air. A figure steps through and looks completely terrified. Eyes wide, sweating bullets, jaw on the floor. The summoned guy is panicking, totally confused about the teleportation. Wait, it's a dude, not a monster, a human. The guy stammers that he's 100% human and snaps a weird salute. Joo-hyuk's brain breaks. He just successfully summoned something outside a tower, and not a cool dragon, but a living, breathing human being. Suddenly, the summoned guy sniffs the air. His eyes lock onto the spilled ramen. Can I get a bite? He pleads. Joo-hyuk, too stunned to argue, mumbles, sure. The redhead grabs the bowl like it's gold. Joo-hyuk stands there, frozen. He didn't summon a protector. He summoned a shameless freeloader, who only cares about food. The guy inhales the noodles, slurping like a vacuum. But then, the sweat starts pouring. He's dying from the heat. Joo-hyuk stares. This dude is weak. That was mild udon, not even spicy. Ignoring the pathetic display, the mystery remains. How did the skill trigger in the real world? And why a human? Unheard of. He checks his status window again. The description has changed. Ability: summon humans and demi-humans. Rarity tiers unlocked. R, SR, and the legendary SSR. It's a gacha game come to life. We're talking legend special super rare tier here, folks. Top of the food chain. Plus, The mental link between summoner and servant was crystal clear. Honestly, the guy didn't even know rares were in the loot pool. He felt like he was burning cash on a gacha game banner, or something. Suddenly, the system interface glitches out, locking him in with 3 absolute commandments. The 3 ironclad laws of the summon. Rule number 1. The entity must defend the summoner's life at all costs. Rule number 2. Total obedience to every single command. And 3. If the rules clash, protecting the master always overrides the order. Absolute obedience? Yeah, our boy Ju-hyuk was definitely vibing with that power trip. Now, he had to know who exactly answered his call. He taps the profile, and the stats flood the screen. This wasn't just some NPC. This was the notorious Cruel Guild's unhinged nightmare, John Kosak. Rank, SR, super rare. Class, human assassin. He can manifest for 6 hours straight, requires 0 satisfaction rating, and has a 3-hour cooldown. But here's the kicker, he was the guild's biggest problem child. Basically, a total psycho. But you can't argue with results. The guy had a 99% kill rate. He even smoked a 5th circle dark mage like it was nothing. The data download slammed into Ju-hyuk's brain, splitting his skull until reality dissolved. He felt himself free-falling through the void, and just before impact, he spots a phantom assassin rushing him. He flinches, bracing for death, but the figure phases right through him, like a ghost. It wasn't an attack, it was a memory replay. He was watching John's twisted past. The assassin was slicing through guards with terrifying skill, but then things got weird. He was wrapping their severed heads in red ribbons, like twisted little birthday presents. No wonder they called him insane. Suddenly, John glances over his shoulder. Even monsters bleed. His death came from one mistake. He tried to ambush the Empire's strongest swordmaster in his bedroom. Big mistake. Before John could even twitch, he was sliced cleanly in half. That was his game over. Snap back to reality. A voice whispers right behind Ju-hyuk's ear, asking him what's on his mind. Ju-hyuk jumps out of his skin. He trips over his own feet, flailing wildly before crashing to the floor, screaming. John wasn't trying to kill him. He was just politely asking for orders. Ju-hyuk forces his heart rate down, remembering the system's promise. The summoned creates 0 threat and obeys absolutely. He takes a shaky breath to test the waters, and orders the assassin to trash the ramen pot and wipe down the table. In a blur, John executes the command. Ju-hyuk watches, stunned. The guy is fast, efficient, and silent. He literally did exactly what was asked. Time to push the limits. He asks if crazy requests are off the table. John just shrugs. He follows the summoner's word, no matter what. So, Ju-hyuk goes for the ultimate disrespect. He tells the deadly assassin to bark, like a dog. John freezes mid-wipe. Ju-hyuk starts sweating bullets. Did he just trigger a former S-class killer's ego? This guy was a legend. His pride should be massive. Ju-hyuk braces for a snap, but John barks happily like a golden retriever. Ju-hyuk stands there, jaw on the floor, and flashes a trembling thumbs up. Absolute obedience confirmed. Bam! Someone hammers on the front door. The debt collectors. They know he's home and scream for him to open up. Ju-hyuk's stomach drops. He totally forgot today was interest day. He tells John to stand down. See? Ju-hyuk borrowed 10 million won. No bank would touch him. So out of desperation, he went to the sharks. His dad shattered his hip on black ice, and between the surgery and his little brother's tuition, he was cornered. He had to sign the deal. He thought he could pay it off fast, but the principal hasn't budged. He's already burned through 5 million won, just covering the insane interest rates. He knows he screwed up, but if he went back in time, he'd make the same call to save his family. The thugs demand a face-to-face wellness check. Ju-hyuk whips his head around. John already has a dagger drawn, eyes dead set on decapitating the visitor on command. But Ju-hyuk isn't ready for murder. If he lets John loose, it's going to be a bloodbath. He panic whispers for John to hide in the bathroom and freeze. Total lockdown. Mouth shut. John asks, "Permission to breathe, sir?" Ju-hyuk sighs with relief. "Yes, just breathe." Ju-hyuk cracks the door, and a heavy hand instantly clamps onto his neck. The thug sneers, checking if his investment is healthy, adding a fake concern that he might be sick since the payment was late. Ju-hyuk freezes, terrified, and stammers an apology about slipping his mind. He quickly adds that he just wired the cash. The shark pats his cheek, dropping a chilling reminder. If money is that tight, don't stress yourself out. You can always carve out an organ and sell it, he smirks. Life's a whole lot easier with just one kidney, kid. One of the goons sneered, suggesting the punk had a little brother they could use. The boss agreed, fresh meat could work off the debt just as well. Younger they are, higher the market value, he scoffed. Ju-hyuk's expression instantly darkened, a cold fury rising in his chest. The heavy caught the shift in his vibe immediately. What's with the face? You want to throw hands right here? Ju-hyuk snapped out of it, forcing a pathetic, awkward smile. No way, never, he stammered. The thug got right in his grill, eyes menacing. "Watch your back," he hissed, "or you'll vanish, and nobody will ever find the body." Slam. Silence. Joo-hyuk finally exhaled, legs shaking. Like a ghost, John materialized from the bathroom. The guy's stealth stats were maxed out. Joo-hyuk hadn't heard a single breath. "I followed your command to remain unseen," John stated calmly. Suddenly, the adrenaline crashed. Joo-hyuk slumped, the weight of double shifts crushing him, an awakening, summoning a human weapon, and loan sharks banging on his door. The crushing debt made him glance at the tower news. Maybe he should risk it. But reality hit hard. The payouts were insane, sure, but a trembling coward like him would be monster chow in 5 seconds. "Orders, master?" John asked, breaking the silence. "Is there a target? Do you wish for me to return to the void?" He offered to unsummon himself. "Actually," John tilted his head, "can I watch the tube?" Joo-hyuk blinked. How did an assassin know about TV and ramen? Whatever. "Go for it," he mumbled. John happily settled in for a K-drama marathon, while Joo-hyuk dragged himself to bed. Drifting off, Joo-hyuk realized something weird. Even though his roommate was a summoned entity, hearing another heartbeat in the room felt safe. Exhaustion won the war, and he blacked out. The next thing he knew, his alarm was screaming at 8 in the morning. He scanned the room empty. John was gone. He figured the summon timer had just run out. No big surprise there. He vaguely remembered a system notification popping up in his dreams. Groggy, he stumbled up to get ready for another soul-sucking day at work. He was zoning out while brushing his teeth when the TV blared, "Breaking news." Something about a massive incident in Jongno-gu, Seoul. The anchor's voice was grim. The entire Smile Cash office, that illegal loan shark den, had been wiped out in a brutal bloodbath. 3 victims, decapitated, the reporter said. Clatter. Joo-hyuk's toothbrush hit the floor. The killer left a signature. The severed heads were wrapped in bright red ribbons. John. The realization hit Joo-hyuk like a freight train. He turned ghost white. He hadn't just summoned a fighter. He had unleashed a certified, high-functioning psychopath. The Smile Cash massacre was trending everywhere. Crime scene photos showed bodies swimming in their own blood. One guy's finger snapped backward. And those heads, displayed like twisted birthday gifts. Joo-hyuk spiraled. Panic clawed at his throat. He was an accessory to murder. If the cops traced this back to him, he was cooked. He tried to deny it, but the style was undeniable. That was John's handiwork. Later, scanning items at work, reality warped. A loan shark's ribbon-wrapped head seemed to roll down the checkout counter, waiting to be scanned. His brain was frying. All he could see was that headless torso clutching its own gift-wrapped skull. The hallucination was so vivid he scrambled backward, crashing hard into the display shelf behind him. "Whoa, you good, bro?" a customer asked, looking concerned. "Sorry, I'm sorry," he blurted out, frantically ringing up her items. He was a mess. He couldn't function like this. He needed a mental health day. He called out of all his gigs for tomorrow, sighing heavily. Was his debt really worth people's lives? Back in the safety of his room, he pulled up John's profile in the catalog. Title: The Cruel Guild's Crazy Assassin. Rank: Super Rare. Class: Human Assassin. Duration: 6 hours. No satisfaction rating yet. Cooldown: 3 hours. Logically, he knew the system prevented friendly fire, but staring at those stats gave him the creeps. He hit the summon button, but a pop-up blocked him. "Please rate your experience with John to proceed." This wasn't Uber. He told the guy to watch a soap opera, and the dude went out and committed a triple homicide. Unauthorized. He wanted to slap a 1-star review on him for being a loose cannon. He was furious, ready to flip the screen, the bird. But he paused. Giving a 1-star rating felt too savage, even for a killer. He remembered his mom's struggles as a water purifier coordinator. Ratings were life or death. He couldn't be a Karen. He clicked 3 stars. Empathy won out. The moment he submitted the rating, the air shifted. John materialized in the room. 3 stars, John beamed, looking genuinely touched. "Thank you, master. I'll grind even harder next time." Looking at that puppy dog face, you'd never guess he was a butcher. Joo-hyuk decided to rip the band-aid off. "Did you zero those guys? The ones who broke in here?" John puffed out his chest. "Handled them last night. Trash taken out." Joo-hyuk gasped, the air leaving his lungs. Hearing the confession out loud was terrifying. He was rooming with a serial killer. Nausea roiled in his gut, heart hammering against his ribs. He forced himself to breathe. "He can't hurt me. System rules." "How?" Joo-hyuk whispered, voice trembling. "You didn't even have an address." John tapped his own temple, grinning. "Mark of pursuit," he said casually. "Tagged those bastards the second they stepped over the threshold, like it was just a video game skill." John justified the slaughter as proactive defense, taking out the trash before it could stink. Joo-hyuk wasn't buying it, clapping back that he never gave the kill order. Then John played his ace card, the summon's 3 laws. Specifically, Article 3. The fine print: if Law 1 and 2 clash, Law 1 reigns supreme. In plain English, absolute, unquestioning obedience. But here's the loophole. If the summoner's life is on the line, the rules go out the window. Ju Hyuk tested the waters. So, if I ordered you to end me, you'd disobey? Bingo, John confirmed without missing a beat. But since Ju Hyuk wasn't actually in danger, John admitted his little massacre was a judgment call. John argued that Article 3 is open to interpretation. In his twisted logic, those goons were walking red flags. Leaving them alive meant a guaranteed threat down the line, so killing them now was just smart business. Ju Hyuk shuddered. Dude, that is straight up psycho logic. The insult slipped out before he could catch it. He stammered an apology, but John just shrugged. He's used to being called a monster. It's not that Ju Hyuk didn't get the logic, but that mindset is a ticking time bomb. Picture this. Just a casual stroll downtown with John. Boom, accidental shoulder check with some wannabe gangster. The guy starts running his mouth, posturing hard. You got a death wish? I'll gouge your eyes out. Classic empty trash talk. But in John's world, that guy gets decapitated before he finishes the sentence. Ju Hyuk was spiraling. This was a nightmare scenario waiting to happen. Surprisingly, John owned it. My bad. He dropped to one knee, clarifying that the bloodshed wasn't just for his own entertainment. It was to prevent future headaches. Plus, John pointed out the cleanup was flawless. No witnesses, no crime. Ju Hyuk demanded a stop to the freelance killing. John couldn't promise zero violence, so Ju Hyuk forced a pact. Only engage if there is literal steel against my throat. No more killing based on vibes or hunches. John vowed to exercise better judgment, his voice booming with manic energy. Deal sealed. Ju Hyuk tried to dismiss him, but John threw a curveball. So, are we ignoring the tower? Ju Hyuk froze. He knew the tower was the golden ticket, a one-shot lottery win to change his life. But terror gripped him. It's a meat grinder in there. He deflected, asking if John had served another master before. Indeed, John reminisced. A warrior, true steel, absolutely fearless. Ju Hyuk felt small. Someone out there was using these powers to actually save the world. I don't have the guts, he admitted, bracing for the mockery. John opened his mouth to speak. Ju Hyuk cut him off. I know, I'm a pathetic coward. But John shook his head. Incorrect. You are the superior summoner. John dropped some wisdom. Safety is the ultimate virtue. Bravery? That's poison. Heroes get people killed. If you die trying to be a hero, I'm stuck in the void too. Let me handle the filth and blood. You stay safe. Live long. That night, Ju Hyuk tossed and turned, the conversation replaying in his head like a broken record. To climb or not to climb? He decided to fold. The hero life wasn't his vibe. He'd just be grateful for surviving. The gangsters were gone. The debt erased. He planned to work a boring, safe 9 to 5. Keep his head down, work hard, and survive. Then, reality rang. His dad's number flashed on the screen. Dad checked in on the rehab, then dropped the hammer. They needed to transfer to a major hospital. Expensive. And Mom? She just lost her job. Don't stress, son, his dad lied through the phone. Just calling because we haven't heard from you. He promised to visit soon. A family meal to pretend everything was fine. Take care of yourself. Click. Ju Hyuk stared at the phone. Then, he silently strapped on his safety gear. Just a peek, he lied to himself. First floor only. Quick scout mission. In and out. If it gets hairy, I bail immediately. He cleared his schedule anyway, might as well use the free time. Time to summon. But wait, did he really need to bring that lunatic John? Maybe he could roll the dice again. Pull a legendary special super rare unit this time? Access denied. Random summon locked. Cooldown, 28 days, 11 hours, 8 minutes, and 37 seconds. A whole month? He had no idea the cooldown was that brutal. Stuck with the psycho it is. He hesitated. Did John know he tried to replace him? Avoiding eye contact, he mumbled. We're hitting the tower. John beamed. Finally, look at that bravery. Whoa, cancel that. Ju Hyuk panicked. No bravery here, just dipping a toe in. Understood. John pointed at Ju Hyuk's pathetic safety gear. Ditch the trash. I am your weapon, your hunting dog. I'll handle the slaughter, John promised, eyes gleaming. You won't even have to lift a finger. Ju Hyuk locked eyes on the interface. Target, Korea Black Tower, floor 1. He smashed the confirm button. Gravity just vanished. Freefall kicked in, tearing a scream from Ju Hyuk's throat while John clung to him for dear life. Reality dissolved into a neon blur. Ju Hyuk plummeted through a digital vortex, code and light streaming past like a warp jump. Pure terror. His face drained of color, eyelids clamped shut as the data stream violently dragged him down. John's grip tightened, anchoring him as they hurtled into the abyss. Then slam. Solid ground. Ju Hyuk opened his eyes to a total wasteland. His stomach lurched, and he violently emptied his guts on the dirt. John just watched. You'll adjust, John deadpanned. Without missing a beat, He marched out of the safe zone, leaving the rookie to catch up. Ding. The system interfaced with Ju Hyuk's body, surging him with a sudden stat boost. Combat skills unlocked. Level 1 or not. The power coursing through his veins was undeniable. He finally felt like a player. He flexed, feeling surprisingly swole. The objective flashed. Defeat 5 tough-skinned fatty grubs. Time limit, 2 hours. Current kill count, 0. The stakes? Death or a humiliating forfeit. No pressure. John spotted the targets. Ju Hyuk remembered the wiki. Floor 1 is basically a tutorial level. These fatty grubs were literal meat shields. 0 damage output, but tanky as hell with indestructible hides. Basically, walking bullet sponges. It usually took other players 30 minutes just to chip one down. But Ju Hyuk was hyped. He stepped up, ready to grind. John shot him a skeptical look. Master, is suffering really necessary? John asked. Ju Hyuk ignored him, stepping forward, then froze. He forgot a weapon. He whipped around to borrow a blade, but the grub was already looming over him, casting a massive, squishy shadow. Ju Hyuk's soul left his body. He spun toward his companion, eyes pleading. John, assist. John nodded. Wise choice. Blur of motion. John vanished, reappearing instantly to blow the monster's head apart. One shot. He didn't stop, rushing the rest. Stay back. Dual daggers materialized in John's grip, a manic grin on his face. He unleashed a flurry of throws, tagging multiple grubs. All at once. He snapped his fingers, blade explosion. The marked targets detonated in a fountain of gore. Instant squad wipe. Mission cleared. The loot dropped, 100 magic stones. And then, the ranking flashed. S++. That insane clear rank unlocked a platinum badge. Ju Hyuk stood there in euphoria, realizing this was actually broken level easy. He was already mentally spending his future fortune. But he had no idea that across Korea, the glitched ranking was going viral. In gyms, in clubs, on phones, every player's interface lit up with the same anomaly, a global notification. While the world panicked, Ju Hyuk unlocked floor 2 and warped out of the tower, teleported back to reality. The transition nausea hit him again, harder this time. He glanced at the clock. 5 minutes. Total. John gave him a thumbs up. Good work. Ju Hyuk blinked. I literally just stood there. Exactly, John confirmed. Best strategy. Ju Hyuk recalled horror stories of rookies exhausted after beating one grub. Meanwhile, he just speed ran the whole floor. It felt like cheating. He inspected his loot, a real magic stone, the lifeblood of the modern economy, glowing right in his palm. Market prices had crashed since the early days, but it was still decent cash, roughly 50,000, one for 100 grams. It had been 20 years since the towers manifested, so everyone knew the basics. Magic stones were common knowledge, but a platinum badge? That was unheard of. Still, Ju Hyuk was buzzing. 50,000 won in 3 minutes? That's an insane hourly rate. John immediately went to binge watch his dramas. Ju Hyuk ordered delivery, treating his carry. John sniffed the air. Spicy jockball? Ju Hyuk shook his head. Regular. John claimed he couldn't handle spice, yet he was practically inhaling the spicy aroma. Turns out, the guy had 0 spice tolerance. John devoured the food, thanking him with that weird, stiff formality. Why do you talk like that? Ju Hyuk asked. John explained his speech patterns ending sentences with "siomda." It was a habit from his last summoner, a long-term gig. Ju Hyuk nodded slowly. Sounds like baggage from a toxic ex, or ex-summoner, in this case. I can change it if it bugs you, John offered. Nah, keep it. It's got character, Ju Hyuk replied. One thing was clear now. The tower wasn't a death trap. It was a gold mine. The next morning, Ju Hyuk uploaded his new schedule, the alpha male daily routine. Day job, convenience store grind. Sitting at the charcoal grill spot under the night lights, he makes a call. Screw the side hustle. That dead-end labor job, history. Instead, he's going all in on the tower grind with John. He summons his ace, John, who's fresh off receiving another 5-star review. Honestly, if Ju Hyuk could break the scale and drop a 10-point rating, he'd do it in a heartbeat. John beams, clearly vibing with the praise. He asks if the ratings actually matter that much. John breaks it down. The higher the clout, the better the perks. We're talking longer summon duration, rank boosts, and obviously, getting that priority hotline bling. They step onto the second floor of the Black Tower. Mission parameters. Squish 10 quick-witted fatty grubs. The clock is set to 2 hours, and the scoreboard currently reads 0 out of 10. 1 death, 1 forfeit, and it's game over. Ju Hyuk instantly realizes these aren't your average bugs. They're glitchy, fast, and darting everywhere. Panic sets in. What's the play here? He asks. John doesn't even flinch. Don't sweat the strategy. This is a 3-minute speedrun. He promises to wipe the floor with them, drop Ju Hyuk off at home, and celebrate with a feast of fried chicken and cold beers. Flash forward to the crib. and John is already thanking him for the meal. The man literally deleted those quick-witted fatty grubs in seconds. Juyok shakes his head, pure insanity. Floor 2 cleared, level up achieved. The loot? A massive 200-gram magic stone. But then, the notification pops. Rank S++. A perfect clear for the Korean Black Tower. The system rewards him with a shiny platinum badge. Seeing that S++ again has him questioning reality. Is it allowed to be this easy? It was so fast he could basically farm this dungeon before his morning shift even starts. Next day, it's time to raid the 3rd floor. New targets, 10 ice-cold fatty grubs. John notes his landing mechanics have sharpened, and within minutes, they absolutely crush the 3rd floor mission. Reward, 300-gram magic stone. Rank, another S++ clear. For the Black Tower Korea server, another platinum badge added to the collection. The 4th floor, same story. 5th floor, total domination. He's sitting on 5 S++ platinum badges, and that unlocks a major achievement. The reward is a game changer, awakening trait enhancement. The buff? His simultaneous summon cap just doubled to 2. The status screen confirms that Juyok is level 6, ready to control a duo squad, but his character catalog is currently a ghost town. His kit includes designated summon, random summon, and summon release. General skills? Just the daily tower entry, and the tower inventory. 0 combat skills to his name. But this upgrade means he can have a bodyguard. While John is busy steamrolling the entire map, he realizes that S++ reward is actually broken. This changes everything for the long game. His survivability just skyrocketed. The cooldown on random summon is 20 days. He decides to camp out and wait. Once that timer hits 0, the 3 of them can roll out together. He can chill and enjoy the carry while his squad wrecks the tower. Tomorrow, the grind continues on floor 6. Meanwhile, over at the Awakener Management Administration in Hanamdong, Seoul, the tension in the lobby is thick. 2 officers are glued to the screens. A man paces, wondering if the notification will drop in the morning, evening, or the dead of night. A woman in a sharp suit catches him staring. Waiting for the ping, aren't you? He jumps, totally busted. Face turning red, he snaps back. Quit reading my mind! This anxious mess is Jong Gwang-il, team leader at the administration, and the perceptive woman is Lee Min-a, the deputy director. Did a new alert pop? He asks. She nods. Confirmed. Black Tower, Korea. 6th floor. Rank S++. The global server has been spamming notifications non-stop lately, and every single ping is a perfect S++ run. Gwang-il connects the dots. This isn't a team. It's one guy. Floors 1 through 5 cleared sequentially. No doubt about it, they're dealing with a player possessing unprecedented, god-tier talent. If they aced every single floor with S++, slam, a fist hits the desk, cutting him off. It's Park Kyung-soo, the big boss director. Our highest record was rank A, he barks. We didn't even know ranks went higher until this S++ mystery started triggering worldwide alerts. In today's meta, poaching players is standard practice. Hell, foreign agencies are pulling secret abductions, in the shadows. Before another country snatches this rookie, Korea needs to lock them down. Now, eyes on the database, he orders. Monitor every new registration like a hawk. 2 days later, Juyok sets his sights on floor 8. The 1 floor a day strategy is working like a charm. Up to floor 10 is basically the tutorial zone, so it's smooth sailing. Today's map, the swamp. Mission: eliminate 10 red thorn frog warriors. Suddenly, a shadow moves. The frog warrior lunges for the kill. John whipped out his dagger, and in a blur of motion, he minced those warriors into ribbons. The system immediately pinged Ju-hyuk regarding the completion of the 8th floor mission. The loot dropped: a massive 800-gram magic stone and 5 tower-exclusive healing potions. He had secured a flawless S++ rank on the Black Tower Korea's 8th floor. To top it off, a shiny platinum badge was awarded. John started hyping him up like a total fanboy, even though Ju-hyuk hadn't lifted a finger. Every single day, John insisted, that just stepping inside the tower was the real nightmare. He claimed that thanks to Ju-hyuk, this climb was a total breeze. John warned him to stay sharp, because after floor 10, the difficulty spikes hard. Since they blitzed the stage in a 3-minute clear, Ju-hyuk figured the guy deserved a treat. He tossed him an allowance. Go hit the town, grab some grub, have a blast, you've got plenty of manifestation time left. He told him not to start a riot, but John flat out refused, leaving Ju-hyuk completely baffled. John explained that he couldn't leave his master's side, so he'd just binge TV at home. Ju-hyuk realized that absolute obedience apparently applies to being a couch potato too. Fine, let's just order some fried chicken, he suggested, and John's eyes practically sparkled. John dialed it in and ordered the good stuff, definitely the mild version. While the assassin handled dinner, Ju-hyuk scrolled through his rewards. A new drop appeared: a tower-exclusive healing potion. He earmarked that for John. Then, he dumped the glowing stones onto his table and stared at the pile, strategizing his next move. His inventory was sitting at a hefty 3.6 kilograms. If he pawned this now, that is roughly 1.8 million won. He figured it was time to think about cashing out. Finally, day 10 of the Black Tower climb rolled around. The big 1-0 was approaching. Ju-hyuk dragged himself home from his part-time gig. While swapping gear, he reflected on how, initially, he planned to just dip a toe in. Yet here he was, crushing one floor a day like a machine. Yesterday's 9th floor, the jungle man eating corpse flower, was a total joke. Clearing missions was expected, but those S++ rewards? Sweet bonus. He felt so reassured he almost forgot John was a psycho assassin with a triple body count. He hit the summon button. He dropped another 5-star rating, and thanks to the streak of top scores, John's manifestation time extended by 1 whole hour. Ju-hyuk nodded, totally worth the max score. John threw up a massive heart sign with his arms, beaming. Now he could play bodyguard for an extra hour. They stepped into the Black Tower Korea. His physical stats surged to match his level, while his traits and combat skills came online. Hitting the 10th floor, the difference was visceral. He was referring to the intense recalibration of his physical abilities. Inside the tower, power flooded his veins, mysterious mana swirling in his gut. He felt unstoppable like an untamable, wild horse. Riding that high, he puffed his chest out and told John, "I'm jumping in. I'll help you fight." John shut that down instantly. "If you get even a scratch, I'll smash my own head into the concrete." But Ju-hyuk insisted, "I'm a wild horse now." John tried to talk him down, swearing his cheerleading was contribution enough. Ju-hyuk kept yapping about battling side by side, but then he glanced over his shoulder and saw a massive eyeball. It was a giant, grotesque insect. His courage vanished instantly. How the hell do other players kill these things? He cleared his throat. "Actually, sending 2 of us for a mere bug. It hurts a human's pride, you know?" John blinked, totally lost, and clarified that there was absolutely no shame involved. "No, it hurts my pride. A lot." Terrified of the 10th floor boss, he shoved John forward. "You handle it." The giant praying mantis lunged. John didn't flinch. He leaped, sprinting right up the monster's exoskeleton. With a stone-cold look and a flurry of swift cuts, he diced the beast into confetti. Boom! Mission cleared just like that. 10th floor loot. 1 kilogram of magic stones. Once again, the scoreboard flashed that beautiful S++ rank and dropped another platinum badge. John walked back, calm as ever. Mission complete. Master. 11th floor unlocked. They warped out of the Black Tower. With that fresh 1 kilogram haul, he was holding a total of 5.5 kilograms. He got a perk at 5 platinum badges, so hitting 10 meant, as expected, he unlocked another sweet upgrade. He rubbed his hands together. The perk? Copy 1 skill from a summoned entity. The menu popped up. Blade Explosion, Shock Break, Vile Ambush, Poison Dagger, Shadow Step, Disruption, Stealth, Invisibility, Polymorph. John peeked over. "Master, it has to be Shadow Step." "Zero doubt." Ju-hyuk looked puzzled. "Shadow Step?" John nodded aggressively. "For the skill copy, don't even hesitate. You have to take Shadow Step." Ju-hyuk raised an eyebrow. "Why that one?" "It is perfect for fleeing," John said earnestly. "If things go south, you can bail out fast and silent." Ju-hyuk scowled, actually offended. "Seriously? Do I look like the type of guy who would just abandon his crew? Just to stay alive in solo mode, he locked in Shadow Step. He figured in a real brawl, insane footwork was the ultimate meta. It goes back to that old saying, footwork isn't just a skill, it's the heartbeat of a fight. But did the mechanics apply in real life? He stepped outside to test the glitch, but nothing happened. Zero. He groaned about the jagged game logic. I mean, the summoning worked perfectly, so why was the skill bugged? Fast forward to day 11 of his tower grind. He dialed the Awakener Management Hotline. "Yo, I awakened." The operator practically threw a party and promised a government support squad would hit his crib as soon as possible. The creepy part? They confirmed they were en route before he even dropped his address. Big Brother is watching much? Moments after our average Joe called the feds to pawn off some magic stones, he felt totally drained. Honestly, the bravest move of his 25 years on Earth. Meanwhile, the suits were already pulling up outside. Director Lee was riding shotgun with Gwang-il. He brought up the mystery caller from Daegu yesterday. She shut it down cold. "I doubt that's our legendary S++ record holder." Gwang-il started questioning if this S-tier ghost was even real. Then she dropped the bomb, "New awakening request. You coming or what?" "Yeah, let's hustle while we still have legs," he sighed. But if this was the person they were hunting for, he was ready to draft them into the elite squad immediately. Whatever perks the administration had, he'd make it rain. Back at the ranch, Ju-hyuk was speed cleaning his place. Ding dong. The Awakener management crew was at the door. Showtime. He opened up and waved them in. Team leader Jung Gwang-il handled the intros and gestured to Deputy Director Lee Min-ah. She's a player too, he added. So don't hold back. Ask her anything. Great. A female player. His anxiety spiked. Then she leaned in way too close, making him turn beet red, and she instantly clocked him. It's him. The S double plus. Ju Hyuk short-circuited. He literally threw his hands up and shrieked, reacting on pure instinct. Then her words actually registered. Wait, is there some secret Awakener radar tech that he missed in the tutorial? He decided to play dumb and act cool, but his body language was screaming guilty. He froze up like a glitched NPC. Heard of him, but definitely not me. Textbook liar behavior. She saw right through it. Gwang-il literally smacked her, scolding her for grilling the civilian. She swerved the hit, totally unbothered. I'm going to keep digging, she teased. While Gwang-il apologized for the chaos, Ju Hyuk figured it was just a vibe check. Suddenly, a holoscreen pops up. A cute chibi character, little black tower with wings, waving a star wand. Hiya, I'm Toby, your friendly neighborhood Black Tower mascot. Then things got serious. It talked about the tower, a pitch-black nightmare, absolutely massive, dwarfing every skyscraper on Earth. It just spawned globally overnight. 20 years back, governments panicked. Soldiers, scientists, they all tried to breach it. No dice. Totally inaccessible. Invisible walls everywhere. The mystery of what is it was solved when the first players emerged. It's literally a game dungeon. You climb, floor by floor. Outside, players are normal people. Inside, they're gods with superpowers and insane skills. They grind for loot, upgrade gear, and basically carry the global economy on their backs. But here's the kicker. What if nobody climbs? If the upper floors aren't unlocked? Within 6 months, a countdown starts. Then, boom, tower collapse. 3 years ago. That's how Mumbai got deleted from existence. Every country has between 1 and 3 of these ticking time bombs. Korea's got one, buried deep in the Gangwon Mountains. Player count? Insanely low, 0.01 to 0.02%. That's only like 5,000 to 10,000 people total. A tiny squad. But hey, Korea's crushing it. Floor 65 cleared. Silver medal status, right behind the United States at floor 66. But don't stress, because players are real-life superheroes, just like explorers finding new continents back in the day. Humanity is now conquering the tower. The Awakened are the MVPs of this era. So, sign up, get official, and maybe you'll be the next legend. Video ends. Time for the real talk. Gwang-il needed receipts. Are you legitimately awakened? Ju Hyuk nodded. Yeah. Entered the tower, cleared some stuff. He flashed the magic stones as proof. What floor did you reach? He answered, 10. Gwang-il and Min-ah snapped their heads to look at each other instantly. Since they were standing on the exact floor where that legendary S++ record was smashed, Mine started connecting the dots. She hit him with a curveball, asking if he'd caught wind of the viral global notice drama. He tried to keep his poker face, claiming he'd seen the headlines but had zero clue who the mystery player actually was. He even hyped the guy up, calling him a top-tier player. Gwang-il noticed the cringy acting immediately and told him to chill out, no need to sweat buckets. But the recruiters exchanged a look. Was this just rookie jitters? Or was he hiding something? Suspicion lingered, but they pushed forward with the contract details. Here's the deal. The government splits players into 2 leagues. First, you've got the elite climbing team, the big leagues. Then there's the general climbing team. These guys are basically freelancers, setting their own hours and picking their own fights. The elite team, however, is on a tight leash with the Awakener Management Administration. They're practically government property. Sure, they're forced into high-stakes raids, but the perks are insane. We're talking serious support packages. The biggest selling point? Bodyguards in the real world, because let's face it, outside the tower, players are just squishy civilians. Plus, signing with the elite team guarantees a fat base salary every year. Ju Hyuk's mind raced to the worst-case scenario. If they found out he was the S++ legend, the media circus would be unbearable. Imagine reporters swarming his place in Hanamdong, pestering him about being a rich loner. He'd honestly rather drop dead than deal with that level of clout. Gwang-il dropped the other shoe. Elite applicants have to record their raids. Mandatory body cams. That was the deal breaker. Ju Hyuk instantly shut down the elite offer. I'm good with the general team, he said. Gwang-il was baffled why turn down VIP treatment for the cheap seats. Ju Hyuk played the Wimp card perfectly. I've got no talent, and frankly, I'm terrified. I just want to hit a safe floor, grab some loot, and go home alive. Gwang-il told him to sleep on it, but Ju Hyuk stood his ground. Minai let out a heavy sigh, another dud. It wasn't uncommon for players to play it safe and farm easy levels. But admitting you're a coward right to the recruiter's face, that was a first. This guy didn't just lack skill, he lacked guts. Even if he begged to join the elite team now, he was blacklist material. The elite squad needed warriors with a drive to climb, not chickens. They accepted his choice, and Gwang-il asked him to step into the tower. It was the final step of the interview, proving he was actually awakened. And since you only get one entry ticket a day, Gwang-il suggested he might as well clear a floor while he was in there. Ju Hyuk sensed the trap immediately. They were still fishing to see if he could pull off another S++ miracle. He agreed to the run, but lowered expectations hard. I'm slow, okay? I use every second of the clock. Expect me back in about 2 hours. The recruiters shrugged. They were getting paid to wait anyway. Minai put on her customer service smile, telling him not to stress. Ju Hyuk mentally prepped himself. Make yourselves at home, he told them. Watch some TV, raid the fridge. This is going to take a while. And with that, he warped out. Gwang-il confirmed the signal. He was definitely awakened. He turned to Minai for the verdict. Talent? Who knows, she muttered. But the kid is spineless. Just look at him, total shrinking violet. She predicted he'd wash out on the 11th floor. Why? Because the 11th floor isn't a skill check. It's a gut check. The long-tailed tunnel centipedes? Gwang-il asked. They aren't tough, but you have to squash 100 of them. It's a gross-out gauntlet. Minai was convinced a wuss like Ju Hyuk would freak out and run back to the safe zone. He'd definitely abandon the mission. Gwang-il nodded. Her instincts were rarely wrong. He was already mentally drafting the mission failed report to the director. Meanwhile, inside the tower, Ju Hyuk called out to the shadows. John, you're up, the servant bowed. At your service, master. The objective flashed on the HUD. Floor 11. Defeat 100 long-tailed tunnel centipedes. Time limit, 3 hours. Scoreboard, 0 out of 100. Death or quitting meant failure. Ju Hyuk gagged. Ugh, bugs. And 100 of them? Gross. John cracked his knuckles. I'll wipe them out in 5 minutes flat, boss. Whoa, easy there. Ju Hyuk stopped him. We need to drag this out. Burn at least an hour. No S++ records today. He explained that the suits were watching the clock outside. He'd need to dismiss John before exiting to keep his secret safe. John nodded. Understood. Honestly, stepping inside was proof enough, but Ju Hyuk wanted to seal the deal with a spectacularly mediocre clear record. That way, he'd slip right through the net of anyone hunting for the S++ mystery player. John started slicing through the bugs. Too fast, Ju Hyuk hissed. Slow it down. John reduced his speed to a lazy crawl. Ju Hyuk relaxed, thinking they had the perfect pace. Suddenly, the ground erupted. A massive centipede burst up right under his feet, knocking him off balance. Monsters were overrunning the area. He tried to trigger an escape skill, but his legs were paralyzed with fear. John saw the danger and totally freaked out. He blitzed forward, shredding the centipedes into confetti. The summon was furious. They dared touch his master. He annihilated them instantly. But Ju Hyuk panicked. John was moving way too fast. Slow down, Ju Hyuk begged. Nerf yourself. But John shook his head, refusing to gamble with his master's safety. Ju Hyuk didn't want to try this hard. Suddenly, the system pinged. Floor cleared. Rank S++. A shiny platinum badge dropped. Floor 12 unlocked. As he teleported out, Ju Hyuk's face was a mask of pure, unadulterated meh. 5 minutes on the clock. Minai checked her watch, figuring the newbie had already quit. Then, the impossible happened. A holographic notification shattered the silence. Black Tower, Korea. Floor 11 cleared. Grade S++. Cue Ju Hyuk strolling out. Minai's jaw hit the floor. Gwang-il leaned in. Yo, you okay? She whispered. The second he walked out, that god-tier score popped up. But the math wasn't mathing. Ju Hyuk looked grim. Under his breath, he was spiraling. I didn't mean to go that hard. Shadow looming behind him, Ju Hyuk whispered. No witnesses. He signaled John. Tie them up. Now. But John didn't do ropes. He went for decapitation. Ju Hyuk let out a blood-curdling scream. What are you doing? I didn't order a hit. The severed heads, somehow gift-wrapped in ribbons, started talking to him. Ju Hyuk was apologizing profusely to the ribbons. Wait, total hallucination. In reality, they were just sitting there staring at him while he bathed in cold sweat. He realized he was tripping over his own anxiety. Deep breath, poker face, pull it together, Ju Hyuk. Gwang-il pushed on. Our elite squad needs a beast like you. Ju Hyuk forced a smile that looked more like a grimace. He was dripping sweat, rambling like a rapper on caffeine, trying to convince them it was all a giant mistake. Probably just a glitch. Someone else cleared it at the same time, he stammered. Gwang-il wasn't buying it. With that timing? Unlikely. Ju Hyuk doubled down, denying reality with every fiber of his being. So, not you? Nope. Gwang-il sighed, deciding to play along. Fine. Since you're awakened, let's talk paperwork. He whipped out a contract. But instead of the standard deal Ju-hyuk wanted, he slapped down an elite tier agreement. Kwang-il grinned. This isn't your average 9-to-5 deal. We're talking next-level perks. It's the ultra-elite package, unique in the industry. Starting salary? 12 billion won, plus a luxury pad, VIP treatment, and 24/7 security detail. And the kicker? Legal immunity. Basically, he'd be untouchable. Ju-hyuk realized this wasn't a job. It was modern royalty. He was told that currently, only one other guy had this deal, the current number one in Korea, Yoo Chul-min. Kwang-il urged him to look. The nation gives you everything. Ju-hyuk didn't blink. Hard pass. Give me the basic contract or I walk. Kwang-il was stunned. Why turn down a golden ticket? Ju-hyuk shuddered. I hate the spotlight. Eyes on me means pressure. Pressure means stress. Stress means my heart explodes. No thanks. They realized he is a terminal introvert. Sure, the tower is fun, but he is only on floor 11, and the future is scary enough without paparazzi. Kwang-il read the room and decided to pivot. Okay, basic contract it is. Ju-hyuk knew anyone else would kill for that elite deal and call him crazy. Why not take the cash and coast? Because elite contracts aren't free money. They come with heavy chains. Big perks mean big expectations. Once you sign, you can't just clock out when you are tired. You are forced to raid the deadliest upper floors. Ju-hyuk didn't want that smoke. He just wanted a comfy paycheck. A quiet, easy life. Meanwhile, at the Awakening Bureau in Seoul, Director Park got an update. It contradicted the initial data. Kwang-il reported, target is hyper-timid, zero ambition to climb. Park frowned. And this nervous wreck cleared S++? Kwang-il confirmed. Affirmative. The director was baffled. So he is a powerhouse with the personality of a frightened rabbit? That is unique. Wrong guy? Park asked. Mine shook her head. Impossible. The timing was frame perfect. The director grinned. Who cares if he is shy? Talent is talent. Get him on the elite squad, by any means necessary. Kwang-il nodded. Mission accepted. Back in the tower, Ju-hyuk was fuming. He was chewing John out, but honestly, pretending to be angry was exhausting. Pull a stunt like that again, and you are done, he warned. Then, they stepped into the darkness of floor 12. The objective? Slaughter 20 ice, snow icicle, spear weasels. The clock? Ticking down from 3 hours. Ju-hyuk summoned John with one strict order. Take it slow. John smiled way too cheerfully, which was instantly suspicious. He really hoped the guy would listen this time. A standard clear meant the management bureau would finally stop obsessing over him. But damn, that chill. He packed layers, yet the freezing air bit right through him, colder than he ever imagined. He tried to tough it out, but John noticed his face turning pale. Immediate panic. John asked if he was good, and Ju-hyuk muttered he could handle it. Big mistake. John immediately vowed to speedrun the carnage and get him somewhere cozy. Ju-hyuk opened his mouth to say, I'm fine, and to tell him to chill out, but John's shadow was already gone. In John's twisted logic, if his master wasn't careful, he'd catch a cold, which John apparently considered a terminal illness. To him, Ju-hyuk was at death's door. Driven by that delusion, John obliterated the monsters in a blur of violence. Ding! System alert. Collecting 15 platinum badges unlocked a special perk. The reward was the energy shield kit, dropped straight into his tower inventory. Our MC slapped that bracelet on instantly. It generates a damage-absorbing barrier around the user. Once it tanks a specific amount of hits, it shatters and goes on a 5-hour cooldown. The strength scales with his level. A shimmering barrier wrapped around him, basically invisible full-plate armor. Best part? No tower exclusive tag. That meant he could use this cheat code in the real world too. He did the math. This thing could fetch 2 or 3 billion won easily. For a split second, he fantasized about cashing out and quitting the tower forever. But then, greed kicked in. What if the higher floors held even crazier loot? Hyped on adrenaline, he asked John if they could smash the 16th floor. Right now with an S++ rank. John hesitated. Clearing it? Sure. But he warned his master to be careful, stating he couldn't guarantee that perfect S++ rank. Ju-hyuk froze. He wasn't expecting limits. Now, he was conflicted. While John casually munched on cookies, asking what was up, Ju-hyuk's mind drifted back to selling the bracelet. Meanwhile, Director Park was sweating bullets. The global announcements for those god-tier clears had been silent for way too long. Mine dropped the bomb. It had been 15 days. Kwang-il chimed in with the data, confirming the player was camped out on the 15th floor. Park lost it. He raged at the universe for gifting such insane power to such a total coward. Kwang-il tried to rationalize it, noting the massive difficulty spike on floor 16, but he refused to believe Ju-hyuk had quit. Let's wait, he urged. Suddenly, a notification pinged. It was him. Ju-hyuk messaged that he was en route to the Awakener Management Administration to hit up the player shop. A light bulb went off in Park's head. The kid wasn't hiding. He was farming the 15th floor to save cash for gear. Kwang-il nodded. It all made sense. Remember? When they visited his house, Joo-hyuk had zero equipment. Park felt like a total idiot for judging him. He immediately barked orders. When Joo-hyuk arrives, let him buy whatever he wants. At a massive discount. He mentally kicked himself for his assumptions. Back in the dungeon, John turned ghost white, sweating buckets after hearing Joo-hyuk's request. Joo-hyuk wanted John to stab him. Literally. John looked like he was being torn apart inside. He fell to his knees, begging Joo-hyuk to just beat him to death if he was angry instead. Joo-hyuk sighed, explaining that he just needed to stress test the energy shield. It wasn't a suicide mission. Why was John acting like a drama queen over a tiny poke? John straight up pretended to go deaf, and Joo-hyuk got fed up. So, our MC took matters into his own hands. He grabbed John's wrist and drove the dagger toward his own chest. John froze in horror. Then, blood spurted. Joo-hyuk's eyes went wide when he realized he forgot to turn the shield on. Total fail. John started screaming to cut off his own cursed arm. Luckily, the auto-heal kicked in before any limbs were lost. John begged him to stop the madness. Joo-hyuk agreed and shooed him off to finish the hunt. Whoosh! John vanished, slicing through monsters up in the trees like a blender. Figuring he had 10 minutes before the massacre was over, Joo-hyuk decided to test out his own moves. He activated Shadow Step. Zap. He moved so fast he left a literal afterimage fading in the air. He was shook. So this is what true speed feels like. No wonder John insisted he learn this skill first. Total freedom of movement. Perfect for his favorite tactic, running away. Suddenly, he spotted something. A goblin, crawling in the dirt. It had been hiding from John, but the moment it locked eyes with Joo-hyuk, it lunged. He triggered his defenses instantly. Thank God the shield flared to life just in time, saving his arm from becoming a goblin snack. Totally grossed out, he booted the creature away. It sailed through the air, a perfect alley-oop for John, who sliced it into confetti. He opened his mouth to clown on John about his soccer skills but choked on the words. Realizing his buddy had been in actual peril, he sprinted over. "You good, man?" He frantically patted John down, firing off questions like a machine gun about whether he actually fought that thing. He checked for injuries, scratches, anything. He even sniffed the guy's armpits, don't ask only to realize John was suspiciously unscathed. Relief turned to anger as he chewed John out for being so reckless. He kept lecturing about bold moves until John's ears were practically ringing. John just mumbled he'd be careful. Fast forward 15 days of grinding on the 15th floor, and he was finally vibing with his new skills. The loot haul was massive. The magic stones weighed in at 22.5 kilograms, cashing out at roughly 11,250,000 won. Kwang-il hit him back, and Joo-hyuk dropped the request. He needed access to the player shop. Kwang-il immediately offered to send a chauffeur. Joo-hyuk tried to play it cool and say he'd walk, but Kwang-il wasn't hearing it, insisting it was a standard VIP perk. Joo-hyuk sighed and waited for his ride. A sleek luxury sedan pulled up to whisk him away. The moment he stepped out, Kwang-il was there, rolling out the red carpet for the administration building. Joo-hyuk could feel the special treatment in the air. They headed inside, scanning his biometrics to register his vein data into the system. Now he had the golden ticket. He could raid the shop anytime without booking an appointment. Kwang-il offered the grand tour, but Joo-hyuk took a hard pass. He wanted to browse at his own pace. He made a beeline for the player shop. The place screamed wealth, yet it was a total ghost town. Not a single other customer. He wondered if the price tags scared everyone off. First order of business, offloading the loot. The magic stones tallied up to 11,250,000 won. The clerk said the cash would hit his account in 3 days. He asked if he could blow that credit in the store right now. Green light. Exhausted from the grind, he decided to grab the essentials and bounce. Meanwhile, Director Park checked in with Kwang-il. "Is our boy shopping comfortably?" Kwang-il confirmed Joo-hyuk was browsing, adding that they'd told every other player the shop was closed for maintenance. The director then asked about the price tags. Kwang-il smirked. He'd ordered the staff to slash everything by 90%. If they gave him free stuff, a timid guy like Joo-hyuk would panic and refuse. But a discount? That feels like a bargain. Director Park nodded. Smart play. Back at his place, Joo-hyuk unboxed his new toy, an adamant mace, picked up for a measly 2 million won. He also snagged some basilisk leather walkers for 3 million. He knew the market standard gear usually starts at 20 to 30 million won, minimum. Combined with team leader Kwang-il's personal greeting, the math was easy. He was getting the superstar treatment. He grumbled about it being too much pressure, but looking at those fresh kicks, he couldn't help but grin. Conflicted feelings aside, relying on just shoes for defense was only possible because of his energy shield. It was the ultimate all-in-one armor, making every other defensive slot obsolete. He owed it all to that perk. He swore he wouldn't get greedy when he started this climb, but that perk was a little devil on his shoulder, slowly whispering for him to take more. The next morning, he summoned John. The soldier saluted, asking if they were hitting the 15th floor again. Ju-hyuk shook his head. Pack your bags. We're hitting floor 16. The summon cooldown had reset. They had a slot for one more cute mate. As the ritual began, Ju-hyuk prayed for a tank. A purple light coalesced, but then it kept growing and growing. They weren't ready for the scale of this thing. Crash! The entity's head smashed right through the ceiling. Ju-hyuk froze, paralyzed, eyes wide, sweat drenching his face, jaw on the floor as the shockwave of fear hit him. His brain scrambled to process, wondering what nightmare fuel he had just summoned. Simultaneously, his heart broke for his security deposit. Cracks in the roof equal bye-bye money. Massive limbs materialized. It was a giant of a man, or maybe a monster in human skin. Ju-hyuk couldn't tell. John lost it. He drop-kicked the Titan right in the face, screaming at him to sit the hell down. Why him? John wailed. Of all the souls in the void, it had to be this guy. He's ruining my afterlife. He wanted the guy dead, plain and simple. Ju-hyuk blinked, sensing history there. The giant looked annoyed, muttering that the kick didn't hurt, it tickled. That triggered John. Keep talking. I'll slit your throat and wrap it with a bow. Ju-hyuk stepped in before it turned into a bloodbath. Enough. One broken ceiling is plenty. He barked the order. John snapped to attention instantly. He told John to back off so he could interview their new teammate. John scoffed. Don't bother. It's pointless. That dude was legendary back home, but for all the wrong reasons. Total airhead status. John immediately starts roasting him, betting the big guy doesn't even know the 3 laws. The giant insists he's got 'em memorized, so John challenges him to spill it. The man recites, Article 1, total obedience to the summoner. Article 2, prioritize value assessment. And then, total brain freeze on Article 3. That's the nail in the coffin. John suggests they just off the guy right now and banish him for 100 days. The poor dude looks like his brain engine is overheating, just trying to process the stress. Ju-hyuk is floored he didn't even know that penalty existed. Suddenly, a stat screen pops up. Title, The Dim-Witted Savage, aka the Meat Shield of the Great Plains Tribe. Name, unknown. Rank, just a rare. Class, Human Savage Warrior. Summon time 10 hours, cooldown 3. Satisfaction rating is a big fat 0. Ju-hyuk feels a wave of disappointment hit him. An R rank is basically the bottom of the barrel. He honestly considers waiting a whole month just to re-roll the gacha. He asks the brute for a name, but the guy's got nothing. Total amnesia. Asking about his location? Clueless. Doesn't even know what the tower is. Our MC is getting frustrated, so he dives into the detailed specs to see what he's dealing with. Boom. Just like with John, vision shifts. He's yanked into the savage's memories, landing smack in the middle of a massive green plain. Flashback. The savage warrior is literally chasing butterflies, a warrior of the Great Plains tribe. With a soul so pure, he's vibing just being alive. But don't let the soft side fool you. His stats are god tier. When giant plains wolves rush him, he thinks they're just looking for a playdate, accidentally crushes their bones like twigs. He's just too dense to know his own strength. Eventually, a stranger tracks him down, confirming the legends. The guy is an absolute unit. The stranger introduces himself as Ares. He asks for a name, but our gentle giant had already blanked on it. Long story short, this fake hero plays him like a fiddle, sends him to the front line as a living shield against a boss-level threat, the Hydra. With that tank-build body, he eats the Hydra's breath attacks and claps back, ripping heads off one by one, totally oblivious that his skin is literally melting off. Brain says, protect the squad. Body says, game over. The acid damage finally stacks up, and he dissolves into nothing. The comrades? They stand there laughing at him while he dies. Now, Ju-hyuk gets the Meat Shield title. It hits hard. Tears start flowing. Who cares if the guy isn't a genius? Ju-hyuk reaches out, ready to welcome him to the team. He invites him to crush the tower together. The big guy reaches back, but his hand is massive. Ju-hyuk basically ends up shaking a single finger. Time to name him. Options, Yaman or Gobang. The guy's indecisive, so Ju-hyuk tells him to follow his gut. The giant locks in Gobang. Ju-hyuk swears he'll give him a happy life. Trust me? Gobang nods. He's all in, ready to follow orders blindly. Our MC turns to John. We're a squad now, the 3 of us. Deal with it. John looks salty as hell. But deep down, the gears are turning. He tells Ju-hyuk that Gobang is the ultimate damage sponge, and he's gonna whip him into a lethal weapon. Squad goals set, Ju-hyuk announces. It's time to raid the 16th floor. Gobang bellows out. Yes, sir. John stomps his foot, too slow. Gobang instantly mimics John's attitude, which that just ticked him off even more. Talk about a dream team. A nervous average Joe, a psycho assassin, and a meat shield with rocks for brains. Total recipe for disaster. They stepped into the Korea Black Tower, 16th floor. Stats synced up to their current levels, and combat perks finally unlocked. Joo-hyuk just prayed they'd survive the grind. The objective: wreck 30 goblin scouts within 5 hours. John barked orders: get that energy shield up and stay frosty for a shadow step escape. These goblins were nasty snipers with poison darts. A lethal ambush could drop from anywhere. Target acquired on Joo-hyuk. A dart hissed through the air, but John snatched it inches from his face. Ambush. Joo-hyuk scrambled behind a boulder while John played defense, deflecting the rain of steel. The barrage was insane. Joo-hyuk's cover started crumbling under the pressure. Had to be at least 50 hostiles out there. Time to unleash the tank. He ordered Go-bang to take point. The big guy's mood shifted, shaking the earth with every step before launching skyward. John blinked, confused by the sudden charge. Then, a massive shadow eclipsed the sun, forcing him to look up. Go-bang crashed down like a meteor, the impact sending a shockwave that blew the goblin squad away. Even John got knocked back by the blast. Joo-hyuk watched the carnage and thought, with that much mass and force, this wasn't a fight, it was a massacre. The survivors fired more needles, but they just bounced off Go-bang like toothpicks. He followed orders and deleted them. Joo-hyuk couldn't process that Go-bang was only rank. His raw combat specs screamed SSR tier. Joo-hyuk figured the system must have nerfed his rank, because his IQ was in the single digits. Back at base, they celebrated with fried chicken. Go-bang was in heaven. Joo-hyuk hyped him up, telling him to feast. Whack! John slapped the big guy, scolding him to slow down and chew. Joo-hyuk sighed. Peace was never an option with these two. Then John took a bite, and his face turned cherry red. The spice level was a critical hit. Joo-hyuk cracked up some deadly assassin, getting roasted by a little hot sauce. Out of nowhere, Go-bang mumbled that the summoner was a good human. Joo-hyuk froze, totally off guard. The giant explained it was because Joo-hyuk fed him kitchen, which kept him alive. Joo-hyuk's face heated up, right in the feels. He stammered that it was nothing, honestly. He was the one being carried by Go-bang. Smack. John hit Go-bang again. It's chicken, you moron, not kitchen. The thud made Joo-hyuk flinch. He yelled at John for bullying the guy while he was happily eating. John shrugged an apology, claiming he was just teaching him some vocab. Truth was, he was just salty. Go-bang was vacuuming up all the wings. Next morning, Korea Black Tower, 17th floor. Stats synced up again. Skills came online, ready for round 2. Hitting level 17 felt different. Joo-hyuk felt a surge of raw energy coursing through him. His pulse raced. It felt like a wild beast was waking up inside his chest. He was itching to brawl, but John cut him off. Newbies get cocky around level 20 and die, he warned, taking point. Go-bang chimed in, promising to protect him too. Stay back, stay alive. Joo-hyuk felt tiny, so he just nodded. Objective: 30 goblin warriors. But the YouTube walkthroughs? Total useless. Seeing them in real life was terrifying. This wasn't a squad. It was a battalion of 90 elite warriors, and for trash mobs, their formation was tactical perfection. The guide suggested a slow grind. When the unit appears, retreat to the safe zone. Wait for them to split into patrols of 3, to avoid drawing aggro. Lure, eliminate, rinse, and repeat until the counter hits 0. Boring. Joo-hyuk didn't have time for that cheese strategy. He signaled Go-bang, go loud. Go-bang let out a primal roar as his buffs kicked in. With this tank on the field, Joo-hyuk figured they could speedrun the 20th floor easy. Wipe them out, he commanded, already dreaming of his next loot drop. Go-bang charged like a freight train. The goblin general shrieked, "Shields up!" Spears flew, but they just snapped against Go-bang's indestructible hide. He smashed into their line, sending goblins ragdolling through the air to faceplant into the dirt. Joo-hyuk watched the carnage, impressed. Tactics are cute when you're evenly matched, but comparing Go-bang to these goblins was like throwing bicycles at a main battle tank. The system pinged a notification. The system screamed perfection. Floor 17 of the Black Tower? Obliterated. Rank: S++. The reward? A shiny platinum badge. While our MC vibed with the loot, John clocked his reaction. A mix of shock and a sting of disappointment hit him. Next stop, floor 18. Mission objective: wipe out goblin assassins. Classic Joo-hyuk move, he sent Go-bang bulldozing ahead. But these goblins? They were all about that stealth life. Those poor assassins didn't know what hit them. Go-bang ripped up trees like weeds, snagging the invisible enemies by pure accident. "I can't see squat," Go-bang grumbled. That's when Joo-hyuk realized this floor wasn't going to be a walk in the park. While Go-bang roared into the void, John's laughter ripped through the trees. He was totally roasting Joo-hyuk. "I'm done watching this meat shield comedy show," John sneered. "Time to rinse my eyes with some real skill." Stealth? Useless against him. John popped Shadow Step, slicing through them like butter. The kill count skyrocketed instantly. Our MC looked amazed. But was he? Nope. It was all 4D chess to get these two working together. John had been sweating bullets ever since Gobang stole his spotlight. Igniting that rivalry? Purely intentional. And oh boy, did it work like a charm. He manipulated the situation to force a grindfest. More badges, more perks. He needed to juice his stats as soon as possible. He was knocking on the door of level 18. Finally, time to let the wild stallion run free. Before stepping onto floor 18, he had downloaded every scrap of intel. Those goblin assassins, their stealth was low-tier trash. With a little focus, he could track them easily. Zero fear. He had drilled Shadow Step until it was muscle memory. Flashback to floor 15. He tried to sneak up on an assassin, but oops rolled his ankle at the last second. He stumbled hard and Shay accidentally brained the goblin. Talk about a lucky break. A kill is a kill, right? He was relieved his plan worked, but suddenly, another goblin materialized behind him. Ambush! Elsewhere, John was a machine, hacking the count up to 25 out of 30. Slash. Another head rolls. 3 left. Suddenly, Gobang barrels in, swinging at nothing like a maniac. Miraculously, Gobang smashed 3 goblins. He tried to help, but John screamed, "Back off, you're crowding my style." That's when John noticed the silence. Ju Hyuk was missing. Meanwhile, our MC popped a shield, buying precious distance from the horde. Bang, a hit to the head. Without that energy barrier, game over. The goblins closed in for the kill. He dropped into a stance. Adrenaline flooded his veins. Suddenly, the goblins looked like they were moving through molasses. The world went slow motion. Slash, slash. He dropped them one by one, and then, silence. Ding. The system flashed blue. Floor 18 of Korea's Black Tower, conquered. Rank, S++. Another platinum badge secured. John didn't care about the loot. He was frantically scanning the area for his boss. When he spotted him, Ju Hyuk grinned. "Think I got the last hit." John practically collapsed. Just glad the guy was breathing. Cut to admin HQ. Minna stared at the screen, eyes wide. The global notice for the floor 18 clear just dropped. Director Park was over the moon. Gwangil nodded. Ju Hyuk is a beast. The man came prepared. If it were up to Park, he would grab a mic and scream, "The legend breaking records is sitting right here." Gwangil cut him off cold. "Don't even joke about that, boss. Doxing him now puts a target on his back," Minna warned. Park sighed, clarifying he was just bursting with pride. Ju Hyuk wasn't just a player anymore. He was a VIP asset requiring more security than a Black Ops team. Soon, the news cycle exploded. A storm was brewing in the Black Tower rankings. After a 20-day dry spell, boom, 18 consecutive S++ clears, unheard of. History books were being rewritten. Analysts pegged the mystery climber at level 19. It wasn't just gamers. The whole country was playing detective, desperate to find the S++ phantom. Click. John killed the TV and sighed heavily. Ju Hyuk shifted, feeling the awkward vibes. "Quit the heavy breathing and spill it," Ju Hyuk said. John finally locked eyes with him. "It's too fast, sir." He wasn't talking about dinner. He meant Ju Hyuk's terrifying growth rate. Ju Hyuk blinked. Talent? Him? He assumed John was babbling about someone else and laughed it off. John wasn't laughing. That last shadow step? Flawless. Clean. Even John would struggle to replicate that level of perfection. That is exactly why it was terrifying. "I'm serious," John pressed. "Once you start getting a high from the combat, your ego grows. And with ego comes danger. You get brave, you get dead." John invoked their day one rule. Survival is king. Ju Hyuk nodded solemnly. "Don't worry, I'm not planning on dying anytime soon." He'd have to tunnel vision on a single target. Ju Hyuk rolled with it, but his gut was screaming that something was off. His intuition warned him that their summoner was a walking disaster waiting to happen. Meanwhile, Gobang was busy roasting him for looking like a total weep fest. Ju Hyuk snapped. He delivered a swift boot to the face, threatening to turn Gobang into soup before the creature slammed hard into the refrigerator. An avalanche of groceries cascaded out. Tears actually welled up in Ju Hyuk's eyes as he screamed at the summons to stop trashing the crib and get lost. He banished them back to the void, absolutely devastated by the sight of his mom's homemade kimchi splattered across the floor tiles. Needing a total mental reset, he resolved to crash at his parents' place. The sun rose on a new day, and he swung the door open, announcing the prodigal son's return. His mom's voice drifted out, beckoning him inside. His dad flashed a warm smile, guilt-tripping him about living so close yet visiting so rarely, until his wife told him to quit the nagging. Ignoring the banter, Ju Hyuk checked on his dad's bad hip. The old man tried to struggle to his feet, but Ju Hyuk immediately insisted he stay down. His dad waved it off, claiming he'd been bedridden half the day anyway, so a little standing wouldn't kill him. Mom ushered them to the table for some fresh stew, while Dad wondered aloud where their brat of a second son had wandered off to. Mom mentioned Min Hyuk was on a tofu run and would be back shortly. As they dug into the food, Joo-hyuk casually asked if things were tough financially. His mom brushed it off, promising she'd snag a new gig soon, while his dad told him to stop stressing about them and focus on his own grind. They insisted he stop sending cash. Joo-hyuk decided to test the waters with a hypothetical, musing about how clutch it would be if he awakened right now. His dad slapped the table, making Joo-hyuk jump out of his skin. He panicked, thinking he'd blown his cover, but his dad just cracked up, asking if that was supposed to be a stand-up bit. He couldn't picture his son his exact clone as an awakener. This was a grown man who still screamed for his mommy to kill cockroaches. Min-hyuk walked in right then, calling it the comedy gold of the century. Mom scolded them, saying it wasn't exactly a flex. Then she pivoted, asking why Joo-hyuk wasn't at work. He lied through his teeth, claiming a day off, even though he'd been unemployed for ages. His mom clocked the deception but played along. She sighed, saying she trusted him, but she dropped a heavy warning. Stay away from loan sharks. That triggered a dark memory he'd been suppressing. The Smile Cash murder case. He quickly promised he'd never go there, then steered the conversation back to why she lost her job. She admitted it was a total Karen situation. She was servicing a water purifier when the customer demanded she sort their recycling and handle their rotting food waste. She stopped caring about her rating, clapped back hard, and got canned for it. His mom was reckless but had a spine of steel. She was the type who had zero tolerance for injustice. That fire was exactly why his dad fell for her. He always claimed his life's peak achievement was working up the nerve to ask her out. Naturally, he was a certified beta male. Joo-hyuk was beta junior, and Min-hyuk was just the sequel to the same movie. It highlighted their weak but stubborn genetics perfectly. If they knew he was entering the tower, they'd lose their minds with worry. He decided to drop the awakening bomb later. Once things calmed down, he exited the building with his little brother tagging along and slipped the kid some cash. When Min-hyuk asked what the deal was, Joo-hyuk explained it was an allowance for the folks. He told him to pass it on and keep a close watch so they wouldn't work themselves into an early grave. He turned to go, but Min-hyuk called for a timeout. The kid hesitated, and Joo-hyuk assumed he was stressing about tuition fees. Joo-hyuk had covered it last semester. He figured the little punk was just too proud to say thanks out loud. So he gripped his brother's shoulder, assuring him he got it. Min-hyuk let out a sigh of relief. Finally ready to speak up, the kid pointed out that money for mom and dad was great, but the transaction felt incomplete. He shamelessly noted that Joo-hyuk had forgotten his cut. Deep down, Joo-hyuk wanted to strangle the little opportunist. He wired him 500,000 won with a warning not to blow it all. Cutting to Hanam-dong, Joo-hyuk stood before the Soul Awakener Management Administration. He'd planned to head back to his studio apartment, but impulse brought him here. Seeing his family had hardened his resolve to do this whole hunter thing the right way. Gwangil had told him to text before dropping by, but since he was already on site, Joo-hyuk figured it was better if Gwangil remained in the dark. It would just get awkward if the guy came out rolling the red carpet. He needed gear, specifically, a real shield. Energy shields were cool, but with monsters leveling up on every floor, he needed hardware. The clerk dropped the bomb. 100 million won. Joo-hyuk froze. He stammered that it looked heavy and pricey, and if that was the only model available, then he'd have to pass. Internally, he was reeling from the price tag. To make it totally humiliating, the clerk was a cute girl. The stuttering came back. He practically choked on his words. Plus, the place was a total mosh pit today, a huge contrast to the ghost town it was last time. The clerk slid a round buckler across the counter adamant and sectonium alloy. Since it was pint-sized, it weighed next to nothing. Even with the discount, this bad boy came with an auto-repair function. She told him to strap it on and see how it felt. He geared up, and wow, it vibe-checked perfectly with his mace, like they were forged as a matching set. He was obsessed, so he finally asked the damage. She dropped a number, 40 million won. Ouch. She offered to walk him through the transaction, and the payment cleared. It was officially his. Honestly, talking to this salesgirl was way more terrifying than hacking at goblins. He was ready to bail and head home. Suddenly, some guy flagged him down, spotting that rookie aura instantly. Introduced himself as Choi Ho-seok, another player. Joo-hyuk felt the guy was coming on a little strong, but he introduced himself anyway. Ho-seok claimed he hit up this shop daily, and since Joo-hyuk was a fresh face, he wanted to network. Then came the classic question, what floor was he on? Ho-seok bragged about grinding in the 30s. Joo-hyuk admitted he was still stuck in the teens. Ho-seok clocked his low level immediately. His face lit up, dropping that big brother act to offer some guidance. Told Joo-hyuk if he ever got stuck clearing floors, just holler. Joo-hyuk actually thought the guy was being genuine. Seemed like a natural extrovert. Joo-hyuk said he was cruising fine for now, but Ho-seok insisted on being the hero. Said he's always in the neighborhood before dipping out. Joo-hyuk was honestly impressed by that level of social confidence. Guy probably has a girlfriend too. Joo-hyuk felt a twinge of jealousy. Later that night, Ju Hyuk peeped his status window. Level 19 already. That meant the 19th floor was open for business. Before jumping in, he planned to summon John to strategize. John spawned in, thanking him for the 5-star rating. Ju Hyuk flexed his new shield. But the second John saw he dropped cash on defensive gear, the dude started bawling. He asked if Ju Hyuk really needed to go this hardcore. Ju Hyuk just shrugged, saying he just wanted to play it safe. John muttered that his last summoner said the exact same thing. Ju Hyuk clarified he was a total beta first sign of trouble. He's folding. John made him swear not to pull a Leroy Jenkins. If it gets hairy, sacrifice the summons and run. Ju Hyuk promised to be a coward. John added a caveat. If it comes to that, toss Go Bong to the wolves, not him. He was ready to plan. But then, sniff, sniff. Ju Hyuk told him he picked up some king-sized dumplings. John was thrilled his master was treating him right, way better than that brute Go Bong. He was about to chow down when his senses spiked. While Ju Hyuk stuffed his face, John asked if he had any enemies. Ju Hyuk mumbled a nope through a mouthful of food. But John got serious. Someone outside was leaking killing intent. Ju Hyuk's face went ghost white. Then came the knock. A voice called out, checking if anyone was home. He told John to cloak himself and triggered his energy shield. Bang! The door flew open. Ju Hyuk braced for impact. The guy had blown the lock off with a gun. The intruder peeked in with a casual sup. Ju Hyuk's eyes nearly popped out. It was the friendly guy from the shop. Hoseok complained that stalking him was a massive drag. Ju Hyuk asked why, but got told to shut his trap and holster the weapon. Hoseok screamed, threatening to punch his ticket. He demanded Ju Hyuk fork over the bracelet and inventory, or he'd turn his skull into Swiss cheese. The cold steel pressed against his forehead. Ju Hyuk's stomach dropped. This was basically game over. But slowly, John materialized behind Hoseok. This scumbag robbed the wrong guy. Hoseok barked that he wasn't playing around, secretly loving the power trip. Ju Hyuk was paralyzed, frozen by the barrel in his face. Hoseok grinned. He picked the perfect mark. Experience taught him that losers like this always coughed up the loot after one solid smack. He told Ju Hyuk to hurry up before things got bloody, but John made his move. Crack! He slammed the dagger's hilt into the back of Hoseok's skull. Hoseok froze, totally blindsided. He didn't know this was a two-man party. He tried to wobble back up, but his legs turned to jelly. He face-planted onto the floor, out cold. Ju Hyuk stood there, jaw on the floor. Then he gave John major props. He was just relieved John went for the knockout instead of a fatality. He was worried John might go full slasher movie villain without reading the room, like some mindless goon. Ju Hyuk realized this guy was an item broker, the scum of the earth who hunt players, treating them like fragile civilians outside the tower just to jack their gear. He'd heard the horror stories. Gwang Il once mentioned that elite teams get bodyguards in the real world for this exact reason. Outside, players squish just as easy as normies. If he couldn't summon in the real world, he would have been dead meat. Once again, the realization hit John like a truck. His ability was absolutely broken. He started trussing Hoseok up like a twisted holiday present, casually mentioning he'd toss this trash out on the curb. But Ju Hyuk stepped in, blocking him. Chill, I'm calling the cops. John wasn't hearing it, insisting there was a much simpler, permanent fix, suggesting he could just haul the body away and dump it where no one would look. Ju Hyuk stood his ground, arguing that dialing 911 was the path of least resistance. Meanwhile, Director Park looked like he'd seen a ghost when he heard Ju Hyuk had ghosted them at the shop again. Gwang Il admitted the guy slipped in while his back was turned. When Park asked for the haul, he was stunned to hear Ju Hyuk only grabbed a single, dinky round buckler. The director facepalmed. If Ju Hyuk would just sign the paper, they could have decked him out in legendary tier gear, from helmet to boots. He demanded to know if they'd cracked the code on Ju Hyuk's traits yet. Gwang Il theorized that, since the kid grabbed a mace and shield, he had to be a melee build. They were imagining some stoic, confident knight, tanking hits on the front line. Park wasn't buying it. If Ju Hyuk was a close-quarters fighter, even full-plate armor wouldn't be enough to keep him breathing. Gwang Il promised to cook up an excuse to gift Ju Hyuk a full defense set. Right then, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and froze. It was the police station. He muttered a quick apology to the director and took the call, his face going pale as he listened. Panic mode engaged. He sprinted out the door, drifting corners in his car. He hit the building, taking the stairs 3 at a time like a maniac. Regret washed over him. He should have locked down that elite contract day one. His heart hammered against his ribs. Terrified, Ju Hyuk was already hurt. Back in the room, the cops were cuffing Hoseok for breaking and entering plus aggravated robbery. Hoseok was screaming bloody murder, trying to flip the script on Ju Hyuk, yelling that he was the victim of a kidnapping plot. Ju Hyuk started sweating, shouting back that Hoseok was the psycho who broke in. But the officers weren't taking chances. They ordered the homeowner to the station too. Ju Hyuk's anxiety spiked. For a split second, he legitimately thought he might end up behind bars. That's when Gwang-il kicked the door open. Ju-hyuk looked like he was about to pass out, imagining prison life. Ho-suk, seeing a familiar face, sighed in relief. He thought his savior had arrived. He immediately started spewing lies to Gwang-il, claiming Ju-hyuk tried to kidnap and loot him. He didn't see the hand coming until Gwang-il slapped him so hard his soul almost left his body. Ho-suk stood there, stunned. Gwang-il was vibrating with rage. This scum had the audacity to lie to his face after trying to zero a fellow player. Ho-suk kept playing the victim card. Gwang-il cut him off, coldly announcing his player license was permanently revoked, then backhanded him again for good measure. Ho-suk was reeling. No one was buying his act. Gwang-il told the cops to drag the trash out, adding that the NIS agents were en route to take over. The NIS handled player crimes, and let's just say human rights wasn't in their vocabulary. Ho-suk finally cracked. He admitted greed made him do it, begging and pleading for mercy. Gwang-il wasn't moved. He knew a sob story when he heard one. This wasn't his first time dealing with lowlifes. He figured Ho-suk was a serial offender, and now every skeleton in his closet was about to be exposed. He sarcastically suggested Ho-suk find a lawyer, though good luck finding one who'd touch this mess. Gwang-il then clarified the arrest protocol with the officers. He warned them, if Ho-suk tried to glitch out by escaping into the tower during transport, just wait. The system would respawn him in the exact same spot. Ho-suk was dragged away, wailing like a banshee. Gwang-il turned to Ju-hyuk, the terrifying rage vanishing from his face, and asked if he was hurt. Ju-hyuk muttered, he was just a bit shaken up. Gwang-il said his name softly, then bowed a full 90 degrees in apology. He swore on his life they would implement measures to ensure this nightmare never repeated. Internally, he knew the delay was over. He had to force the elite contract. It wasn't about perks anymore. It was about keeping Ju-hyuk alive. Fast forward to the next day, John asked Ju-hyuk if the drama was resolved. Ju-hyuk credited John for the assist, saying the cops hauled the guy off. John asked if the intruder was getting the death penalty. Ju-hyuk was like, no. John casually hid his dagger behind his back, asking for the address of the detention center. Ju-hyuk pleaded ignorance, warning him to drop that train of thought immediately. Changing the subject, Ju-hyuk summoned Go-bong. The goblin was hyped to see 5 stars on his review. He was literally jumping for joy, claiming he'd never seen a perfect score. Ju-hyuk noted that, surprisingly, Go-bong could do math. They stepped onto the 19th floor of the Korea Black Tower. Mission objective, eliminate 30 goblin shamans. The zone was crawling with shamans, but honestly, total trash mobs. Their attack magic was weak sauce. They mostly spammed curses, binding spells, and summoned fodder minions. Annoying? Yes. Deadly? Not really. Ju-hyuk barely broke a sweat. Go-bang went full berserker mode, charging the line. The shamans fired off black magic debuffs. Go-bang took a deep breath, then unleashed a roar that shook the entire floor. Ju-hyuk stood paralyzed, eyes wide. The curses didn't just fade, they were annihilated by a sheer, brute force sonic wave. John ghosted around the back, whispering to Go-bong that they needed to speedrun this floor immediately. Go-bong grunted an acknowledgement, fully locked into search and destroy mode. They blitzed the enemy line John, slicing through mobs like butter, while simultaneously, Go-bong pulverized the stragglers with his bare fists. Ju-hyuk felt the adrenaline spike, itching to join the fray, but before he could twitch a muscle, a system alert popped up. The 19th floor was already cleared. He spotted John and Go-bong exchanging hushed whispers before John spun around, acting like that was just a refreshing warm-up. The realization hit Ju-hyuk like a truck. They were speed clearing on purpose to bench him, ensuring he didn't get a single lick of combat experience. He'd been played. The system chimed in, congratulating him on an S++ clear rank. On the 19th floor of the Korea Black Tower, for his effort, he was gifted a shiny platinum badge. Talk about a participation trophy. The next day, he stepped onto the 20th floor of the Korea Black Tower. This was the big one, the monumental 20th floor, known as the Talent Discernment Test. It was legendary for chewing people up. John wasted no time dropping the horror stories. This place was a death trap. We are talking a full goblin nightmare roster. Poison-darting scouts, tactical warriors, assassins that materialize from the void, curse-flinging shamans, and hulking hobgoblins. John didn't sugarcoat it. This floor was pure terror. He casually mentioned that if he were a newbie, he'd find a safe corner and camp out. Then he nudged Go-bong, cueing the big guy to deliver his lines. Go-bong puffed out his massive chest and told Ju-hyuk to chill. He didn't need to lift a finger. The tank would handle the slaughter solo. The mission objective for Floor 20? Exterminate 100 goblins and 1 boss hobgoblin within 10 hours. Failure condition? Straight up death. Or a forfeited mission. Ju-hyuk clenched his jaw. They were running the same play, blocking his growth, and keeping him on the sidelines. John ordered Gobong to pull all the aggro while he flanked. The moment the mobs turned their heads, Gobong bulldozed forward. A chaotic mix of goblins unleashed their skills in a synchronized barrage. Ju-hyuk wasn't having it. He refused to be the fragile NPC in John's game. John looked back, totally blindsided. Ju-hyuk sprinted, closing the gap on Gobong. He literally vaulted off the big guy's back to launch himself into the kill zone. He dove headfirst through the attack volley, riding the high. John spotted him and screamed a desperate, "No!" Flashback time. Ju-hyuk had been a ghost his whole life. As a kid, he'd be playing with a toy car, and some bully would just snatch it. He never made a peep. Elementary school? Even worse, poverty painted a target on his back. Middle school saw him as a chronic loner. Everyone else formed squads while he sat in silence. High school was the same story. Solo lunches, zero presents. He lived like an outcast, too paralyzed by fear to flip the script. He never pictured himself slaying monsters in a tower. He was the guy who couldn't even make eye contact with a bully. But these monsters, they weren't people. There was no social anxiety here, no judgment, no awkward small talk. They were just polygons and hitboxes, like mobs in a video game. So he locked onto one goal: wipe them out and grab the loot. John was yelling at him to freeze, just as spear-wielding goblins rushed him. But Ju-hyuk didn't flinch. He weaved past the spears, slipped behind a goblin, and smashed its face in with his shield. He pinballed from one target to the next, striking with lethal intent. John watched, absolutely floored. He couldn't process how Ju-hyuk was mastering Shadow Walk this quickly. Suddenly, a volley of short, high-impact energy beams slammed into Ju-hyuk's back. John screamed a warning. Pure instinct threw Ju-hyuk's shield up. If not for that energy shield skill, he would have been Swiss cheese. The reality check hit hard. This was terrifying. Regret instantly replaced his bravado. John hollered for him to kite them toward the cliff. Gobong mobilized instantly, shifting into protector mode. A horde of goblins snapped at Ju-hyuk's heels. He could feel his stamina bar tanking. He hit a dead end. Was this it? Panic surged. Nowhere to run. His mind went blank. The goblin horde closed the distance. He braced for death. Suddenly, Gobong slammed down in front of him, throwing up an arm like a fortress wall. He loomed over the trembling goblins and crushed them into paste. John dashed in, decapitating stragglers with surgical precision, shouting props to Gobong. The shaman goblins tried to charge up spells, but John was a blur. He sliced the shamans apart right on the cliff's edge. He scanned the carnage, doing a quick head count. Over 100 kills confirm. He braced himself, expecting the boss spawn. Ju-hyuk stood there, awestruck, that the duo had wiped the map in seconds. But Ju-hyuk looked super awkward, sweating, shaking, forcing a grimace as he politely asked Gobong to scoot forward. Being face-to-face with Gobong's glutes was clearly too much handle. Suddenly, a massive boom echoed. A towering idol materialized, short legs, weeping face, and radiating bad vibes. Standing at the pinnacle of the goblin evolutionary tree was the hobgoblin, a total nightmare. John didn't hesitate. He launched himself off the cliff. He barked a command to Gobang. The big guy instantly got the memo, charging like a freight train to intercept the boss. He caught the hobgoblin's blades, shoving them back, clashing steel against steel before clamping a massive hand around the creature's throat. John watched, totally satisfied. Finally, it looked like Gobang was earning his paycheck. John ordered him to keep that grip iron tight. As John stuck the landing, he drove his weapon straight through both of the hobgoblin's eyes. Fatal crit. Mission accomplished. 100 out of 100 goblins wiped out, and the singular hobgoblin boss eliminated. The 20th floor mission cleared with style. Our boy leveled up instantly, bagging the loot, 2 kilograms of magic stones, and 5 exclusive tower healing potions. John flashed a grin, giving Ju-hyuk props for the hustle. Ju-hyuk stood there, jaw on the floor, stunned that the boss mob got deleted so effortlessly. It was a wake-up call. Letting those two handle the heavy lifting was definitely the meta. He bowed 90 degrees, thanking them for the carry and acknowledging their insane combat skills. The duo returned the gesture. Suddenly, the system pinged. Ju-hyuk had secured an S++ clear rating for the 20th floor of the Korea Black Tower. That legendary S++ rank came with a shiny platinum badge. With that under his belt, Ju-hyuk was officially qualified to storm the 21st floor. Meanwhile, the internet was breaking with news of the S++ clear. On the 20th floor, the comment sections were absolute chaos. One user posted that they thought the team was dead, since there had been 0 updates for 2 weeks. Another asked, just how high can these guys climb? Someone clapped back that the max floor was currently the 30th. The theories were wild. Some claimed they were a Black Ops squad from an elite guild. One final comment speculated they were laying low, terrified that foreign headhunters might try to snatch them up. Ju-hyuk had just set a historic record. by speedrunning 20 consecutive floors. It was a god-tier achievement, but he knew it was about to become a massive headache if the spotlight got too bright. Manhwa proposed they try to spin the media narrative. Director Park shut that down instantly, warning that acknowledging the S++ record holder in any way risked a doxing disaster. He pivoted, asking if the background check on Joo Hyuk's family was complete. Gwang-il responded that everything was handled with maximum stealth. He briefed the room. Joo Hyuk's dad is Bong Soo-cheol. After a nasty slip on an icy road and hip surgery a few months back, he was stuck in rehab. Director Park asked for the support strategy. Gwang-il laid it out. They were transferring him to the absolute best rehabilitation center in the nation. Director Park gave the green light. Gwang-il moved to the younger brother, Bong Min-hyuk. He was a college freshman with mandatory military service looming. Director Park ordered full assistance, smooth sailing for his enlistment, and a full scholarship ride. And finally, the matriarch, Joo Hyuk's mom, Hong Joom-ja. She used to coordinate water purifiers but was currently out of work. Turns out, she got wrongfully terminated after going to war with an abusive customer. Lowering his voice to a whisper, Gwang-il noted that Jum-ja was the real boss fight of the family. She had a fiery personality and ruled the house. Rumor had it, neither her husband nor her sons dared to breathe wrong in her direction. Hearing this, Director Park was convinced the plan was bulletproof. He gave the order to proceed, authorizing the full weight of the Awakener management administration to make it happen. Gwang-il confirmed the VIP care package for Joo Hyuk's family would trigger immediately. Back at the hideout, John's nose twitched the second the aroma of takeout hit him. Go-bang started wiggling with hype. Joo Hyuk hissed at them to freeze. He ordered them to stay out of sight so they wouldn't freak out the delivery guy. He tossed a blanket over Go-bang's massive frame. The delivery driver handed over a feast, 12 orders of sweet and sour pork, and 12 bowls of jjajangmyeon. The guy chuckled, asking if Joo Hyuk was hosting a house party. Joo Hyuk awkwardly muttered, something like that. The driver laughed, mentioning he threw in an order of fried dumplings on the house. He told Joo Hyuk to enjoy the grub, and hit them up again. Internally, Joo Hyuk was salty, calling the guy cheap for only giving one set of dumplings. Despite the massive bill, he rifled through the bags, no coupons either. Still, he figured, collecting coupons was probably a relic of the past anyway. He gave the all-clear for the monsters to emerge. John basked in the rich scent of the black bean noodles. Go-bang was practically leaking drool. Joo Hyuk knew this flavor profile was brand new to them. Go-bang shoved a dumpling into his maw, muttering about the crunch. John's jaw hit the floor when he watched Go-bang crunch through the ceramic plate too. Joo Hyuk told them to dig in while he checked his notifications. He opened his inventory. He'd unlocked a special perk for stacking 20 platinum badges. Intrigued, he wondered what the buff was. The system pinged him. He had received one. Random box. His eyes went wide, curiosity spiking. A random box meant 3 mystery items from the tower's loot pool. The possibilities included magic stones and over 10 varieties of rare, tower-native herbs. We're talking a loot explosion. 3 types of rare tower metals, over 50 unique monster leathers, plus a pharmacy's worth of potions, elixirs, weapons, armor, blinged-out accessories, combat manuals, level-up runes, capped at 5 levels, tower jumping tickets, good for skipping 5 levels and 5 floors, cooldown reset scrolls, trait boosters, summon rank-up runes, global server access passes, and the Holy Grail, guaranteed rank summon tickets, capable of dropping SR, SSR, or even the mythical LSSR. Joo Hyuk groaned, his eyes glazing over. The list was a mile long, and half this junk was random. RNG drops he couldn't even identify. He doom-scrolled past the crafting trash magic stones, herbs, metals, hard pass. Boring. The gear was mid-tier at best. Sure, a level-up rune would boost his stats, but it locked him to the current floor like a glitch. A tower jumping ticket was basically a speedrun cheat, but skipping floors meant forfeiting all the sweet loot drops along the way. Suddenly, that level-up rune was looking like the meta play. But then, the multinational access pass caught his eye, hinting at cross-server raids in other countries. But let's be real, the guaranteed rank summon ticket was the jackpot, especially with that slim chance for an LSSR unit. One god-tier pull, and he could literally automate his entire climb, letting the summon do the heavy lifting, while he chilled in a luxury carriage like royalty. Total away from keyboard, leveling dream. With 3 reward slots, the vibes were high. He cracked open the first box, manifesting a legendary pull. He was ready to swear off Sin forever if this paid off. The box spun, anticipation peaked, and then, boom, 10 kilograms of basic magic stones. His face fell. Total dud. He could farm these rocks in his sleep. Whatever, he could flip them for a quick 5 million won. Easy money. He moved to box number 2. Ding! Primordial Thunderclap staff added to inventory. The name screamed old-school kung fu movie, making him suspect it was some flashy attack skill. He shelved the specs for later and went for the finale. He popped the last box, a summoned entity rank-up rune. Finally, a genuine smile broke across his face. This was the S-tier loot he needed, a direct upgrade for his minions. It was literally top of his wish list. But now he had a Sophie's choice. John, the SR rank, or Gobang, the R rank. In his mind, they were both total goofballs, but he quickly rebranded them as reliable partners to ease his conscience. Didn't make the pick any easier, though. He leaned toward John. They'd broken bread together so many times. Although, to be fair, Gobang had definitely inhaled more of said bread. This rune was a game changer, boosting a unit's rank, with the power spike depending entirely on their hidden potential during the evolution process. The catch? The unit is unsummonable while upgrading. Since he wasn't desperate for DPS right now, he decided to bench John later for the upgrade. Time for a test drive. He checked out that primordial thunderclap staff skill. It promised to infuse his weapon with lightning, featuring 3 distinct forms. Best part? It was a growth-type skill. Absolute gold. Desperate for some offensive power, he hit learn. First form, soul-chasing thunderbolt. Unlocked. He felt the combat data download straight into his cortex. Hyped, he grabbed his mace and swung with everything he had to unleash the thunder. Silence. Not even a spark. Deep down, he knew it wouldn't work. If everyone could spam ultimates in the real world, society would have imploded by now, especially with psychos like Cossack running around. He'd have to playtest it inside the tower. Suddenly, John piped up, asking why his master was flailing a mace at the air. Ju-hyuk grinned, explaining he just unlocked a shiny new perk. John's ears perked up. Was it an attack skill? Ju-hyuk nodded, dropping the bomb that it was a growth type. John gasped so hard he dropped his food bowl. Gobang immediately swooped in, vacuuming the food off the floor. John exploded. That was the last serving, and he was screaming at the goblin to spit it out. Ju-hyuk sighed and unsummoned the chaotic duo. The next day, the mood shifted. He knew why John was freaking out. That summoner trait meant the minions carried the squad's combat score. Basically, the summoner is the squishy backline commander, never meant to face tank damage, especially for an irregular like him who could glitch summons into reality. That summoner from the parallel timeline, the guy who owned John's contract before, was way more OP than Ju-hyuk, and he still got wiped out. His entire world deleted with him. Ju-hyuk totally got why John was so paranoid. But Ju-hyuk was a dude with an ego too. He'd tasted that alpha power, and he was dying to test his new lightning powers. Plus, with absolute obedience, he figured he could talk them down. He summoned the boys. They materialized, but John looked like he was attending a funeral. Ju-hyuk had never seen a face that tragic. In just 24 hours, John finally cracked. He admitted he was low-key terrified that the attack skill was a trap poison in disguise. He confessed the anxiety was eating him alive. Sure, the 20th floor felt chill, but that was only because they were stomping on weak goblins. It was a false sense of security, proving Ju-hyuk's gut feeling was dead on. John was legitimately stressing over that attack skill. He shut it down immediately. Orcs were absolutely off the table. Ju-hyuk sighed, apologizing in advance, warning that he was about to commit a major felony. He smirked, asking if John planned to tie him up with some fancy butterfly knot. John shot back, negative. Then he dropped the hammer. The third law of summons was officially in effect. The rules for summoned entities were dead simple. Rule number 1, protect the summoner's life at all costs, no exceptions. Rule number 2, obey the summoner's commands like gospel. But here's the kicker. If Rule 1 and Rule 2 start beefing, Rule 1 always wins. Gobang didn't hesitate. He snatched Ju-hyuk up with both hands instantly. Smack. John slapped Gobang upside the head, reminding the big guy the order was to grab Ju-hyuk only after they stepped into the tower. The strategy was basic. Once inside, Gobang plays jailer, while John speedruns the clearing solo. Ju-hyuk realized they had totally conspired against him behind his back. He didn't want to stoop this low, but desperate times called for his ultimate weapon, the puppy dog eyes technique. He begged John to cut him some slack just this once, swearing he'd be careful. John wasn't buying it. He said trust was out the window. Ju-hyuk swore on his life he wouldn't go rogue again. John eyed him suspiciously, asking if he was serious. Ju-hyuk argued there was 0 point in just loitering around. He pleaded for just 1 kill, literally 1. He promised to take it slow and play it safe. John grunted, clearly annoyed, but Ju-hyuk was relentless, refusing to back down. John finally caved, but with a strict condition. The second he sensed even a whiff of danger, he was stepping in. Ju-hyuk agreed instantly. Deal sealed. They stepped onto the 21st floor of the Korea Black Tower. Trekking through the woods, John gave the briefing. Orcs are tanks, but they have rocks for brains. Still, probably smarter than Gobang. The big guy immediately clapped back. claiming his IQ was definitely higher than an orc's. John told him to zip it. Joo-hyuk suddenly pumped the brakes, suggesting they run drills 10 times before advancing. John was all for it, hyping him up to practice even more. He ordered Go-bang to pop a squat, declaring him the official punching bag. Joo-hyuk had free rein to wail on him. Joo-hyuk felt super weird about it. John insisted Joo-hyuk land 10 hits on Go-bang. He claimed that even at full throttle, Go-bang wouldn't even feel a tickle, making him the ultimate training dummy. Go-bang gave a thumbs up, saying it wouldn't hurt a bit. Joo-hyuk refused, threatening that if they kept pressuring him, he'd just charge into the fight alone. Besides, the moves were already burned into his brain. He figured smacking an orc was way easier than hitting his friend. He urged them to push on. John looked like he wanted to cry. The mission for Floor 21? Wipe out 30 forest orcs in under 4 hours. The orcs swarmed in. John dove into the fray first. Go-bang yelled that he wanted a piece of the action too. Go-bang closed the gap in one massive leap. The second he touched down, he started pummeling an orc. Meanwhile, John was decapitating and slicing through the mob like butter. Joo-hyuk stood there, shook by their insane speed. Panic set in. At this pace, the raid would be over before he even unholstered his weapon. One orc froze, totally confused, as John sprinted right past it. Joo-hyuk realized John had served that one up on a silver platter just for him. He bolted toward it. John shouted that he'd cover him from the rear. The orc spotted Joo-hyuk and swung its massive blade, but Joo-hyuk ducked the swipe effortlessly. Then, he launched himself up. First form of soul-chasing thunderbolt, a basic, vertical smash. Golden electricity crackled around his mace as he triggered primordial thunderclap staff. He brought the hammer down on the orc's skull, and the weapon smashed straight through. The monster was way squishier than he thought. Joo-hyuk felt a rush of dopamine first kill secured. The beast crumbled. Joo-hyuk stood over it, stunned. That was suspiciously easy. High on adrenaline, he charged at the next target, but Go-bang crushed it before he could get there. John and Go-bang both glared at him. Joo-hyuk played innocent, acting like he thought the deal was one and done anyway. Just like that, he cleared the 21st floor mission and leveled up. He snagged 2.1 kilograms of magic stones as loot, plus 5 tower-exclusive healing potions. Better yet, he shattered the record, earning an S++ clear rank on the 21st floor of the Korea Black Tower and bagging another platinum badge. The next day, he hit the tower again, getting permission to tap exactly one desert orc. Result? Another easy S++ rank on the 22nd floor. Day after that, Joo-hyuk flattened one cave orc, and naturally, grabbed that S++ clear rank on the 23rd floor. The volcano orc was a little spicy, but he still managed to land the killing blow. He was conquering the tower a floor a day, and with John and Go-bang carrying him, it was smooth sailing. He absolutely obliterated the 24th floor of the Korea Black Tower, locking in that sweet S++ rank. Just another day at the office. Finally, the main event, floor 25. Picking off mobs one by one? Nah, that grind wasn't going to cut it anymore. But first, he needed to establish some street cred. The problem was, John and Go-bang were attached at the hip, so slipping John the goods had been impossible. Perfect timing. He yanked John into the summons. John looked totally shook, since Joo-hyuk had literally just said, "Take the day off." Joo-hyuk casually lobbed the stone at him like it was trash he found on the sidewalk. John stared at it. Boss? Is this a snack? Inspect it." "Genius." John did, and his blood ran cold. He froze. It was a summoned entity rank-up rune, a literal game-changer that boosts a summons tier. His brain couldn't even process it. Joo-hyuk smirked. "So, you dig it? For real? For me? If he used this, he'd hit SSR status." The sheer weight of that gift hit him right in the feels. He could finally be the shield Joo-hyuk deserved. That grin on his face? Pure, unadulterated joy. Seeing him light up gave Joo-hyuk a solid dopamine hit too. "Wanna pop it now?" John hesitated. He was dying to, but rushing an evolution like this? Way too risky. Joo-hyuk nodded. "Yeah, you don't mess around with evolution." John decided to head back to the void to handle the ritual properly. He swore he'd come back a beast, but Joo-hyuk felt weird sending him off so fast. "Hey, no rush. You can hang here for a bit." John didn't need to be asked twice. He plopped down in front of the TV. "Yo, what channel is that rerun on?" Joo-hyuk groaned. "VOD costs money, dude." John gave him a look. Why is this guy so obsessed with penny pinching? John started channel surfing, but something flashed on screen. Joo-hyuk's eyes widened. "Stop. Freeze it right there." "What? What is it?" Joo-hyuk was frantic. "Go back. Back. Keep rewinding until I say cut." And there she was. His mom. Joo-hyuk turned to stone. Why the hell was his mother on the evening news? She was standing outside some massive skyscraper, gripping a picket sign. "Oppose unfair termination. Justice for water purifier managers. End corporate bullying." The backstory was infuriating. She'd been fired because a customer treated her like a maid, demanding she sort their recycling. She was there to fix a filter, not take out the trash. Totally outside her job description. But the company? They took the customer's side. They demanded she apologize. She refused. She hadn't done anything wrong, and she wasn't going to bow down to entitlement. Her reward for having a spine? A termination letter. For over 10 days, she'd been out there, protesting all alone, and all she got was mockery from the suits in the high tower. They laughed, thinking she was just some crazy lady mimicking TV dramas. One more snicker, and she was ready to storm the lobby and throw hands. She was literally shaking with rage. Then, a guy walked up. She braced herself, expecting another corporate stooge coming to talk trash. But he didn't. He smiled warmly. "Ma'am, I can see you're going through hell." He introduced himself, Chang Sok, an attorney. And not just any attorney, he was from Park and Kim. That name hit her like a truck. Her walls went up instantly. A lawyer? The company must have sent a shark to scare her off. "Go ahead, sue me," she snapped. "I'm not moving." The lawyer just held up his hands, cool as a cucumber. "Please, relax. I'm not here for them. I'm here to help you sue Jin Spring Water Corporation." He slid her a premium business card. "Park and Kim, the absolute titans of the legal world in the Republic of Korea. We want to take your case," he said. "Pro bono, zero cost." He mentioned he knew about her labor board petition. He'd heard about her situation through a connection. "I promise, ma'am, this isn't a scam." She still looked skeptical. So, he dropped the charity card, said it was part of the firm's annual social justice initiative. It sounded fishy, but his eyes. He didn't look like a liar. Still, she hesitated. "Think of it as the universe finally cutting you a break," he urged. "A reward for standing your ground. Our firm's reputation is on the line here. We will win." Well, she was already at rock bottom. It was all or nothing. "Fine," she said. "You're hired." The lawyer looked genuinely impressed by her grit. "Step 1. We go loud," he signaled. And boom, reporters swarmed out of nowhere. "When they ask you questions," he whispered, "don't hold back. Ignore the clock. Spill every single gritty detail, every insult, every injustice. We are going to drag their ugly secrets into the sunlight." She nodded, steeling herself. Meanwhile, back in the room, Joo-hyuk crumbled. Seeing his mom out there, suffering alone in the cold, it broke him. What was the point of having 2 sons? They were useless, trash, complete failures as children. She couldn't lean on them when it mattered most. But then, a question pierced his grief. How the hell did she get that lawyer? Park and Kim? That firm eats money. You couldn't hire them with pocket change. John turned to him, confused. Gwang-il was itching to raid the Jin Spring Water Company. He was already gripping his daggers, ready for blood. Joo-hyuk clocked that Gwang-il knew the score. Mad respect, but he told him to stand down. He'd seen the footage of his mom's interview. She'd snagged a shark of a lawyer, which honestly hit Joo-hyuk right in the feels. He wanted to be the hero here, fixing everything up with a nice little bow. Plan B? Wire his mom the cash for the legal bills as soon as possible. He was sitting on 21 kilos of magic stones. That haul was easily worth 10 million won. If that didn't cover it, the energy shield kit was going on the market. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. It was his dad. He picked up. Pops asked if he'd caught the news yet. Joo-hyuk said, yeah, but his dad just told him to chill out. Mom's legal defense? Pro bono. Zero cost. Joo-hyuk froze. He was literally about to hit send on that transfer. His dad chuckled, teasing that he knew Joo-hyuk couldn't scrape together that kind of dough that fast anyway. He told him to stop stressing about family drama and focus on his grind. Then, he dropped another bomb. Ilsung Hospital had reached out. Apparently, their orthopedics department was running some special program for hip joint surgery and rehab. And get this, his dad had been selected. In just a few days, he'd be checking in. The kicker? The whole treatment package was 100% free, rehab included. His dad called it a miracle, but Joo-hyuk's gut was screaming that something was off. His dad insisted everything was fine. Joo-hyuk played along, promising to visit. But Ilsung wasn't just any clinic. It was a top-tier facility backed by a massive corp. On paper, it was great news. In reality, sus as hell. Right then, Min-hyuk's caller ID flashed on the screen. Too many miracles were hitting the family at once. Joo-hyuk needed to know what was actually going down. Min-hyuk asked about Mom's interview, raging about the scumbags involved. Mom had worked herself to the bone for them, hustling in sales and doing whatever it took. Joo-hyuk knew that struggle better than anybody. Then Min-hyuk said he was tossing his allowance to Mom to cover the lawsuit. Joo-hyuk cut in, reminding him he still needed a laptop. Min-hyuk brushed it off. He had the cash for gear even after tuition, thanks to scoring a scholarship. He was literally standing in the admin office right now. Min-hyuk was starting to believe that karma was actually real for honest people. Joo-hyuk went straight for the jugular. Who funded the scholarship? Min-hyuk said it was a national grant from the Awakener Management Administration. claimed they hand out a ton of them every single year. Ju Hyuk told him to focus on his studies, but his suspicion just hardened into fact. This wasn't divine intervention. Mom's shark lawyer, dad's medical bills, Min Hyuk's free ride. Every single piece of the puzzle pointed to one place: the Awakener Management Administration. Meanwhile, Gwang-il was cruising in his car when his phone blew up. The caller wanted a face-to-face. Gwang-il agreed instantly, even offering to swing by and pick him up for a bite. They grabbed a private room. No small talk. Ju Hyuk asked point-blank why he pulled all those strings. Gwang-il played dumb. Ju Hyuk listed the receipts: the lawsuit, the hospital, the scholarship. Gwang-il didn't flinch. It was necessary. He wasn't even trying to deny it. Gwang-il broke it down. If Ju Hyuk's home life was a mess, he'd be distracted, and distractions kill progress in the tower. Ju Hyuk got the logic. It made cold, hard sense. But doing it behind his back? That rubbed him the wrong way. He knew this kind of red carpet treatment was strictly for the elite team. He was just a standard hire. Suddenly, Gwang-il slammed his hand on the table. He slid a document across the surface. The ultra-elite contract. Sign it. Now. The big leagues. Ju Hyuk felt the walls closing in. He suddenly realized Gwang-il had planned this checkmate from the start. But Ju Hyuk hesitated. He didn't feel special. He didn't feel elite. He jumped when Gwang-il stood up abruptly. "You really believe that?" Gwang-il demanded. "After smashing records that nobody has ever touched before?" Ju Hyuk was struck dumb. He couldn't form a sentence. Clearing 24 floors straight with an S++ rating? To call that normal wasn't humility. It was straight-up denial. Then, Gwang-il bowed his head low. Ju Hyuk gasped, telling him to chill, but Gwang-il wasn't having it. He brought up the Hosok disaster. "Join the elite team," he urged. "Get the respect you've earned." Ju Hyuk scrambled to get him to sit back down, totally mortified by the scene. Gwang-il doubled down. "Sign this, and nothing like that ever touches you again. You'll get VVIP-level protection." Ju Hyuk shifted in his seat. This still feels heavy. Having a tail 24/7 was bad enough. But the deal breaker? He couldn't film every single dungeon run. That mandatory recording clause was the real sticking point. No way was he risking John and Gobang getting exposed or dragged into some messy drama. Gwang-il immediately read the room. He promised the filming terms were totally up to Ju Hyuk, and the security detail, completely negotiable. Now that piqued his interest. Ju Hyuk asked for the logistics. Gwang-il broke it down. Usually, Ju Hyuk would get a private, high-security crib. Bodyguards would only shadow him when he stepped outside, and if he wanted, they'd lock down protection for his family too. Ju Hyuk tried to stay poker-faced, but then Gwang-il dropped the hammer. Sign the dotted line, and boom, 2 luxury houses. One for him, one for his parents. Bullseye. That offer hit different. How do you say no to that? The dream life was literally right there. Still, he played it cool, telling Gwang-il he appreciated the hustle but needed to know if it was really okay to make such a massive life choice on a whim. Gwang-il saw the hunger in his eyes. He knew he had him. He assured Ju Hyuk it was all greenlit by the director himself, sliding the contract across the table and pointing to the signature line. Ju Hyuk was already mentally decorating those houses. He gripped the pen, then froze. Gwang-il asked what was wrong, but Ju Hyuk's gut was screaming. This was moving way too fast. He asked for a timeout. Gwang-il pressed for a reason. Ju Hyuk kept it real. He needed to consult with his team before locking in his final answer. Gwang-il nodded, agreeing to wait. The next day, it was summoning time. John appeared, loudly announcing the arrival of a super rare assassin. The guy was literally glowing like a walking supernova. Ju Hyuk winced, shielding his face and yelling as the iridescent glare basically flashbanged him. The rank up was legit. John was officially SSR tier. The aura was so blinding, Ju Hyuk had to order him to dim the special effects. John asked if they were bringing Gobang in on this. Ju Hyuk shut that down. Before they tackled the 25th floor, they needed to talk strategy, just the two of them. John nodded sagely. Probably for the best, Gobang's brain wasn't exactly built for nuanced conversation anyway. Ju Hyuk spilled the tea on the meeting with the administration leader. He laid out the insane offer, and admitted he was torn between coasting on the normal team or leveling up to the elite squad. He asked for John's take. John didn't hesitate. Elite team. 100%. Ju Hyuk was basically a national authority player now, and needed to be treated like royalty. But Ju Hyuk was still anxious about the implications. What if they forced a death march to the 60th floor or higher? John said it was doable. Ju Hyuk swore to grind harder, so he wouldn't be dead weight. But John shut that idea down instantly. Ju Hyuk didn't need to train himself into an early grave. His only job was to stay breathing. Survival wasn't just a goal, it was his actual superpower. Ju Hyuk tried to argue, but John doubled down. As long as Ju Hyuk survived, the rest was guaranteed. He explained that back in his home dimension, The roster of legendary SSR summons was practically infinite. As long as Ju-hyuk stayed alive, he would eventually summon every single one of them. And once summoned, they were bound by absolute loyalty. They'd follow any command, provided it didn't break the 3 laws. Ju-hyuk asked if that was the whole pitch. John smirked. There were even demigod-class monsters, beings that existed outside the ranking system and shattered human limits. That definitely got our MC's attention. Ju-hyuk asked if he could pull those rank-breaking monsters. John gave him the honest truth. Not yet. So John revealed the true meta. Live a long life and spam that random summon button. That was his ultimate move, his game changer. The cooldown was roughly 1 month. That meant 12 gacha pulls a year. With some lucky item drops, maybe even more, he could build an army of 12 powerhouses annually. Unless, of course, his RNG was trash, and he got nothing. He checked the clock. 19 days, 10 hours, 17 minutes, and 8 seconds left. John gave him one final instruction. Demand one specific clause. Ju-hyuk had to insist that any decision to climb new floors was his call alone. No suits, no pressure. Ju-hyuk blinked, surprised. He didn't even know he had the leverage to dictate terms like that. John warned him it was critical. If he didn't gatekeep that decision, every clout-chasing loser would start making noise, demanding to know why he wasn't clearing the frontier. And once the public turned, he'd be forced into a death trap before he was ready. John wasn't just talking. He was channeling some serious trauma. Ju-hyuk could hear the scar tissue in his voice. The warning was crystal clear. Don't let them put a leash on you. As long as Ju-hyuk kept his freedom, taking the government handouts was fair game. Honestly, Jo-hyuk was shook that John even agreed to the plan. He dropped a quick thanks before popping his skill to spawn Gobang. The big guy appeared, tossing a salute to his master. John loomed behind him, eyebrows raised, like, "Excuse me? I'm standing right here." Gobang clapped back instantly. Real warriors don't bow to scrubs. That was the wrong button to push. John puffed out his chest, flexing his new status. "SSR, buddy. Read the letters," John barked, practically drawing a diagram in the air. "See that? Double S. That means super, super rare, unlike some measly rank trash I know." Gobang muttered something about John being a bully, but John cut him off. "Zip it. Know your place, you rank bottom feeder." The rank gap was real, and Ju-hyuk saw Gobang actually shrink away from John's glare. 2 whole tiers of power difference. Even a blockhead like Gobang could feel that pressure. Ju-hyuk logged a new mission objective. First rank-up rune he snagged was going straight to Gobang. Meanwhile, he turned to John. "Think we can grind out a platinum badge?" "Again?" John rolled his eyes, scoffing at the dumb question. "Bro, I'm SSR now. That badge is already in the bag." They stepped onto floor 25 of the Korea Black Tower. Objective updated. Slaughter 100 orcs, plus 1 orc chieftain. Time limit, 10 hours. Ju-hyuk looked up. A literal tidal wave of green skin and steel was rushing them. He tightened his grip, ready to solo a few, but John waved him off. "Relax. This is just my victory lap. Watch the SSR work." He barked an order for Gobang to tank the aggro. The big guy didn't hesitate. He launched himself like a cannonball, soaring high. The orcs paused, brains buffering as they watched the shadow fall. That split second of confusion was all John needed. The SSR vanished. He moved so fast he left after images, tearing through the air like a fighter jet on a strafing run. He was a blur of violence, unleashing a storm of blades that turned the front line into Swiss cheese before they could blink. Skill activation. Blade explosion. Boom. The orcs he tagged didn't just die, they detonated, taking their buddies out in a gory shockwave. That wasn't a dagger skill, that was a tactical nuke. But the horde didn't stop. A squad of orcs rushed John's blind spot. Spears impaled him. Got him. The orcs grinned until the body started fading like smoke. A decoy. Flash. John materialized behind them. Vile ambush engaged. Heads started rolling before the bodies even knew they were dead. The guy was literally grinning while he worked. The surviving orcs? Absolute panic mode. They were shaking in their boots. "Why the long faces?" John taunted, coating his blade with green energy. "Poison dagger. Tutorial's just starting, boys." Ju-hyuk realized he was about to get 0 XP if he didn't act. John was stealing every kill. Skill, shadow step. He blurred toward a fresh pack of mobs. They swiveled to engage, but John's words were echoing in Ju-hyuk's head. Just stay alive. That was the advice. But survival wasn't enough. Ju-hyuk was hungry for power. He needed to be strong enough so his family could sleep at night. He charged a roarer. No more riding John's coattails. If he wanted to stand on this stage, he had to level up fast. An orc blade swung for his neck. He wove under it. Bam! A brutal kick to the backside sent the monster face-planting. It scrambled up, dazed and confused. Perfect opening. Ju-hyuk triggered his ult. Primordial Thunderclap Staff. First form soul-chasing Thunderbolt. The staff came down like divine judgment. Crunch. Skull shattered. Blood misted the air, and the orc dropped, screeching. More enemies incoming. Juhyuk didn't stop. He shadow stepped through the chaotic melee, tagging bodies left and right. Suddenly, his vision flashed. System alert. Primordial thunderclap staff. Second form cascading thunderbolts. Unlocked. Adrenaline spiked. He unlocked Form 2. The combat data downloaded directly into his brain instantly. He knew the moves, but this felt heavier, wilder. He started spinning the mace, winding up the new skill. A squad of orcs lunged. Juhyuk dove in, weapon whirling like a buzzsaw. Cascading thunderbolts. Crack boom. Lightning slammed down, splitting into 5 arcing streams that fried multiple targets in a single heartbeat. Juhyuk grinned savagely. It was an AoE skill, total crowd control. Across the field, John paused. He frowned at the light show, confused. Since when do orcs cast lightning magic? Then, he focused and realized. His jaw hit the floor, eyes bulging like a cartoon character as he barreled toward him at Mach speed. At the very last second, he screeched to a halt. The waterworks started flowing as he roasted Juhyuk for getting too cocky, just because he wanted to flex a new skill, ignoring their agreement to grind through enemies one by one. Juhyuk apologized automatically. Then he froze. Wait, why was he saying sorry to his own summon? The realization ticked him off. He was done tiptoeing around John. He snapped back, claiming that even if he was a total nobody outside, inside this tower, he was the apex predator. John didn't flinch, calmly replying that keeping Juhyuk breathing was the only stat that mattered. That just triggered him even more. Juhyuk pointed forward, practically daring the universe to spawn the orc warchief right then and there. He bragged that he'd solo rush the boss and cave its skull in personally. A deafening boom interrupted his little speech. Speak of the devil, the orc warchief spawned instantly. Juhyuk's bravery vanished, and he screeched for John. John didn't hesitate, yoinking him to safety. Juhyuk's face went ghost white. Instant regret washed over him for ignoring the strategy. John deposited him safely behind Gobong and barked orders to neutralize the threat. The warchief gave them a death glare. John told Juhyuk to sit back, while Gobong handled tank duties. The duo rushed in. The warchief unleashed an ear-splitting roar to intimidate them. Gobong's fist started glowing with energy. He intercepted the boss's weapon with a raw, metal-bending punch. The warchief stood there, stun-locked. Gobong didn't let up, slamming both fists into the monster's shoulders with massive force. A sickening crunch of shattered bones echoed. Simultaneously, John teleported behind it, activating Vile Ambush. Daggers flashed. Head rolled. Game over. Just like that, floor 25 was history. Juhyuk leveled up, snagging a hefty 2.5 kilogram magic stone as loot. He secured an S++ clear rank for the 25th floor of the Korea Black Tower, earning a shiny platinum badge. Floor 26 was now unlocked. He logged out of the tower, greeted by a notification. A special perk for hoarding. 25 platinum badges. Encore perk selection was live. Juhyuk knew exactly what time it was. The system rolled out the options: trait enhancement, skill copy, random item, and summon rank up. It felt like hitting the gacha jackpot. He smashed that select button on trait enhancement. You'd have to be brain dead to pick anything else. His stats screen popped up, displaying his name, his guild tag with the Korea Black Tower, and his current status, level 26. His summon trait now allowed a squad of 3. Currently, he was rocking John and Gobong. His kit included designated summon, random summon, and summon release. Basic skills covered: the daily dungeon entry and inventory management. For combat, he had Shadow Step and the Primordial Thunderclap staff. Seeing that 3 summons limit gave him a massive dopamine hit. Counting himself, they could finally run a full 4-man squad. There were roughly 18 days left. On the random summon cooldown timer, he wondered who the next lucky contestant would be. But right now, real life was calling. He asked the boys if they were hungry. John requested spicy rice cakes, tteokbokki. Juhyuk raised an eyebrow. John usually folded at the sight of chili flakes. John puffed out his chest, claiming his SSR rank upgrade made him immune to spice. Juhyuk mentally pressed X to doubt but wished him luck. The food arrived. Juhyuk gave them a good game well played for their performance on floor 25, and told them to dig in. Gobong inhaled a bowl effortlessly. John nervously asked if it was hot. Gobong shrugged, saying it was mild, maybe even a little sweet. John bought the lie. He took one bite, and his mouth instantly turned into a volcano. He collapsed, writhing on the floor like he'd been hit with a poison debuff. Gobong looked at Juhyuk deadpan, suggesting the assassin was a goner and they should probably re-roll for a new summon. With floor 25 cleared, Juhyuk realized it was finally time to come clean to his family. Later, he headed to his parents' place, bringing a stash of premium, top-shelf beef. Minhyuk asked where he got the cash for A5 quality meat. Joo-hyuk whispered, just trust the process. His mom nearly fainted at the price tag, asking for the receipt to return it. His dad stepped in, telling her to chill. They'd been through a rough patch, and their son just wanted to treat them. He insisted she just enjoy the luxury meal. They gathered around the table, vibes high. His dad admitted the meat was absolutely elite. His mom teased that the men in this house were certified carnivores, bringing out fruit for dessert. Joo-hyuk felt a massive weight lift off his shoulders. The lawsuit, the medical bills, all handled. He took a deep breath, preparing for the moment of truth. He dropped the bomb. He had awakened, and was officially a player. Dead silence. They stared at him like he was telling a bad joke. When he realized they didn't buy it, he went to plan B. He made a call to Gwangil. The very next day, a luxury car pulled up to chauffeur them toward a massive skyscraper. Joo-hyuk's mom was shaking, barely able to ask if her son had actually leveled up for real. Gwangil didn't hesitate, confirming the news and dropping the heavy truth. Joo-hyuk was now a straight-up national asset. His dad and brother stood there, jaws on the floor, absolutely shook. The moment they heard the title Elite Player, their brains practically short-circuited. Gwangil led the squad upstairs for the big reveal. Joo-hyuk whipped out a sleek black keycard and tapped it. The locks disengaged, swinging open to reveal their insane new luxury pad. Cut to the imposing Awaken Management Administration building. Inside, Bong's pen hovers over the ultimate prize, the elite contract. One signature and a lifetime of insane perks unlocks. Sealing this elite deal sends an absolute rush of pure dopamine through his veins. It feels like a massive, suffocating weight has finally been lifted off his shoulders. Catching his breath, he thinks to himself, literally just a few days ago, I never in a million years imagined I would be inking a deal like this. Destiny really works in the most mind-bending and unpredictable ways. Suddenly, Mr. John deeply bows his head in profound apology. Please forgive our incompetence, he pleads. We can only offer you 2 billion won annually since our guild budget is tapped out. A national-level powerhouse like you deserves at least 20 billion if not more. Bong quickly waves off the apology, sweating bullets internally. 2 billion won. Lo, I practically flatlined when I heard that number. Composing himself, Bong replies smoothly. Honestly, keeping a low profile is my choice. If the world finds out I am the S++ rank record holder, my peaceful life is officially over. He shudders, picturing the absolute nightmare scenario. If my face gets leaked to the press or goes viral on social media, my family becomes an instant target. Paparazzi hounding us 24/7. No thanks. That is exactly why I kept my S++ awakening a total secret even from my own blood. Mr. John shifts the topic, asking respectfully, by the way, how is your family adjusting to their new luxury estate? If they require anything at all for the apartment, please just say the word. Bong smiles, waving his hands. No, honestly, that will not be necessary. Everything is absolutely perfect. His mind flashes back to the barrage of text messages from his little brother, detailing the exact moment they stepped into the new high-end condo. How their mother immediately broke down crying, absolute tears of joy, unable to stop weeping from sheer happiness. And his bro was utterly hyped too, because his new bedroom came fully decked out with a beastly laptop and an insane gaming setup. The kid literally almost passed out from the shock. Mr. John then pulls up some sleek photos on his tablet. This private unit is exclusively for you, sir. It is fully furnished, prepped for immediate move-in and stocked with absolutely every amenity you could ever possibly need for daily life. So if it suits your schedule, you can officially move in tonight. But are you truly satisfied with such a modest space? We can easily upgrade you to something grander. Bong instantly shuts down the upgrade offer. To him, this space was already low-key a palace. It felt like a multi-million-dollar penthouse. Meanwhile, the camera pans to a completely different vibe, showing off South Korea's most extravagant, ultra-luxury penthouse. Deep inside this billionaire playground, two stunning girls are casually lounging in a massive indoor swimming pool, whispering back and forth. But suddenly crashing this gorgeous party, a massively jacked, heavily tattooed gigachad breaches the water, absolutely ruining their private vibe with his intimidating aura. And honestly, just glancing at this whole setup, you can instantly tell that these women are not just eye candy, they are total boss-level businesswomen, fierce and independent. Then, the camera zooms in on the tattooed guy's face as he smirks at them. How much longer are you two going to paddle around, he demands. Come on, let us go do something, a little more thrilling. Now if your memory is a bit foggy, and you do not recognize this flexor, take a good look at this flashback frame. You might remember him now. Yep, this is the exact same arrogant powerhouse from Chapter 3. The only piece of the puzzle missing now is the official introduction of the mysterious girl who is heavily hinted to become our timid main character's future love interest. As for Mr. Tattoo over here, his name is Yoo Chulman, and he holds the terrifying title of South Korea's absolute #1 ranked player. Honestly, my text-to-speech software is going to butcher that name, so let us just call him Chomin for now. Drop a comment below if you guys have a better nickname for this dude. His unique awakening skill is called All-Weapon Warrior. This overpowered ability means he can instantly wield literally any weapon on Earth to its absolute maximum lethal potential. He is likely hiding an arsenal of absolutely lethal ultimate tier skills. Currently, he stands at the absolute pinnacle of Korea's hunter rankings, dominating the 66th floor like an absolute boss. The scene shifts to him chilling with some gorgeous girls, casually flexing that his glass of liquor costs over 500,000 won. They are all laughing and hyping up the insanely expensive drink, until the girl rocking a yellow bikini suddenly chimes in. She mentions there is something she has been dying to know, assuming he has heard the rumors too. Chaomin raises an eyebrow, asking what exactly she is rambling about. Leaning in, she drops the bomb. She is talking about Korea's legendary S++ ranker. The guy is literally breaking the internet, famous not just in Korea, but across the entire globe. She claims that every time she steps outside, someone is hyping him up. Chaomin visibly scoffs, waving off her excitement. He says it is no big deal, scoffing that the guy is still stuck down on the 25th floor, and he never wastes his breath on such bottom feeders. But she completely misses the deadly shift in his vibe. She just keeps gushing over this mysterious god-tier player. Her friend desperately nudges her, sensing the immense danger. She silently begs her to just shut up, but to no avail. This clueless girl just keeps fangirling over the S++ ranker's insane achievements. That does it. Chaomin's patience completely snaps. In a flash of pure rage, he violently hurls the heavy liquor bottle straight at her head. The glass shatters as he snarls, telling her she barks way too much. He warns her to learn her place and keep her damn mouth shut. Listen to me closely, you pathetic trash. His voice drips with venom. Do you even comprehend exactly what would happen if I just decided to stop clearing these floors? If I just walked away right now? Did you already forget the absolute massacre that wiped out India's Mumbai city? If a massive gate from the Korean tower suddenly spawned in the middle of a major city, and I simply refused to step in and clear it, worthless bugs like you would be slaughtered in the streets. The entire nation of Korea would be turned to dust in a matter of days. You need to realize exactly who you are speaking to. Do you want me to give you a live demonstration right now? I will literally let this entire country burn to the ground, all because of one clueless girl. The heavy silence in the room is shattered only by her violent shivering. The absolute terror painted across her pale face proved that his horrifying threat had completely broken her spirit. Fast forward a bit, the vibe in the penthouse is completely dead. Chaomin had ruthlessly kicked all the girls out of his room. Muttering nasty curses under his breath, he angrily changes his clothes. His mind is furiously spiraling. S++, he seethes. Whenever I hung out with other top-tier players, all those losers could ever talk about was that damn S++ ranker. It drove me insane. That is exactly why I started hanging out with ordinary civilian girls instead. But even this brainless chick cannot stop yapping about the exact same guy. It does not matter where I go or who I talk to anymore. That title is haunting me like a curse. S++. It is pushing me way past my breaking point. Just hearing those syllables is enough to make my blood boil with pure hatred. His eyes narrow as a memory suddenly hits him. Wait. A few months ago, top officials from China reached out to me. They were desperate, offering me an insane annual deal. 180 billion won, a massive estate. That was just their opening bid. Throw in a fleet of private jets. They were ready to treat me like absolute royalty. And Japan. Their deal was insane. 200 billion won, a sprawling mansion and 10 gorgeous maids just to keep me entertained. Total immunity. I could do whatever I wanted. Not a single soul would dare question my authority. Yet I turned it all down. I chose loyalty. I chose Korea. I bled to clear the 65th floor for them. For months, I have been dancing with death itself, grinding my bones to dust, trying to conquer the 66th floor. But now, they are practically worshipping some rookie who barely scraped past floor 25. My sacrifice is completely forgotten. These people are absolute scum. His eyes darken with cold realization. Should I just let this pathetic nation burn to the ground? Let us be real. Floor 66 is an absolute nightmare. I am completely burned out from these endless death loops. The system shifts after floor 60. Undead swarms become the norm. But floor 66, it spawns pure ghost types, the specters. Just making eye contact with these things will shatter your sanity. Physical blades phase right through them. Worthless. There is exactly one way to wipe them out. You need pure, raw, elemental magic. High-tier magic casters only. Forget those brainless zombies from horror movies. The aura these specters emit is suffocating. If you survive an encounter, you are bedridden for 3 straight days, locked in pure psychological trauma. I chugged top-tier elixirs, equipped massive stat-boosting gear. I even burned through rare holy attribute items, anything to push back their sickening dark energy. But it was useless. I barely dragged my half-dead body out of there every single time. Conquering this zone, it feels mathematically impossible. Back in reality, Chomin stares at his status window. The brutal memories of the tower flash through his mind. Should I finally listen to my dark side? Just pack up and let this ungrateful country face total annihilation. A wicked scenario plays out in his head. What if he just vanished, switched servers, and pledged loyalty to a rival superpower? The panic would be absolutely legendary. Every news channel would have a massive meltdown. Half the time limit for floor 66 is already gone. 90 days left. If that timer hits 0, the tower initiates an apocalyptic countdown. Korea gets wiped off the map. When the sky cracks open, not a single fake hero will step up. They will crawl on their knees begging for his help, but he will be long gone. A villainous smirk creeps across his face before twisting into manic laughter. I will be chilling in a VIP lounge across the globe. While these backstabbing hypocrites finally realize my true worth, the regret will taste so sweet when the monsters rip them apart. The entire nation reduced to a bloody wasteland. Pure, unadulterated chaos. Skyscrapers crumbling into dust. The streets burning. And I will be sitting back, grabbing some popcorn, watching the season finale of their doom on a massive flat screen. Cut back to our main guy. Bong A delivery runner just dropped off the ultimate feast. 10 whole boxes of crispy fried chicken. Bong flashes a quick thanks and snags his glorious loot. Bong takes a second to soak it all in. Going from a cramped 180 square foot shoebox to this massive rent-free penthouse, it is an absolute game changer. Plus, this entire high-rise is an exclusive VIP zone strictly for awakened players. The staff here, absolute legends. They handle literally everything from laundry and deep cleaning to room service. We are talking top-tier luxury class facilities, state-of-the-art gyms, aesthetic cafes, a massive swimming pool. Oh, and the best part, 3 gourmet meals a day completely on the house. Riding that pure dopamine high, Bong bounces over to grab his loyal summons, to feast on this golden, deep-fried perfection. Just this morning, our boy absolutely demolished the 26th floor. The system tossed 20 massive swamp trolls his way. Now, normally the 26th floor is no walk in the park. It is a literal death trap. But with his overpowered summons backing him up, Bong completely steamrolled the entire stage. They wiped the floor with those monsters, without breaking a single sweat. Though hilariously, Bong only managed to land the killing blow on one single mob. Balancing the mountain of chicken, Bong yells out, "Meatball Gosak, get your butts over here, it is chow time," but crickets. Absolute silence. His hype squad is straight up ignoring him. What in the world are those two? Bong marches over, totally baffled. "Yo guys, earth to my summons. I literally brought you the holy grail of fried chicken. What has got you so hypnotized?" Annoyed Bong follows their gaze to the screen, only to find his 2 fierce, battle-hardened summons completely mesmerized by a Blackpink concert. And honestly, you really could not blame them for ghosting their master over this epic performance. Bong's face instantly turns 50 shades of red as he stares at the idols. Holy smokes. Watching these gorgeous girls dance on a massive 100-inch screen? Yeah, I am about to lose my mind. Okay, fair play guys. I completely understand why you left me on red just now. Finally, snapping back to reality and munching on a drumstick, Gosak asks, "Master, are we raiding the 27th floor tomorrow?" Bong smirks, his eyes gleaming with determination. "You bet we are. We already shattered the 26th floor. The hype train does not stop here. We are pushing straight through to floor 29. Meanwhile, Meatball, completely unbothered by this hardcore strategy talk. That little dude is just speed running through the chicken boxes like an absolute vacuum cleaner. Gosak tilts his head confused. Wait, why? Stop exactly at the 29th floor. Why not push further? Bong drops the master plan. Because once we clear the 29th, we are going to farm it 10 whole times. We need to grind until the massive cooldown on my random summon skill hits 0. Once that drops, we roll the gacha. Then all 4 of us will storm the 30th floor as a complete squad. Hearing this, Gosak's eyes light up with pure joy. Master, that is incredible news. I seriously cannot wait to meet our brand new comrade. The mere thought of a new powerhouse joining their ranks has both Bong and Meatball buzzing with insane levels of hype. They are practically counting down the seconds to the pull. But suddenly, a terrifying realization hits Gosak like a freight train. Wait a minute. What if this new summon turns out to be some god-tier LSSR grade beast? I will be dethroned. I will lose my spot as the master's right-hand man. I will be demoted to the useless left hand, relegated to doing absolute grunt work while the new guy gets all the glory. This dark, twisted spiral of overthinking has poor Gosak, sweating bullets, spiraling into a total identity crisis. Because if this gacha pull spawns an absolute unit with a higher level, Gosak is permanently getting benched as the second-string sidekick. And boom, the scene shifts again. Seriously, I am losing count here. That is like the 4th transition in a single chapter. Our author must have chugged way too much caffeine today. Anyway, back to the action. Mr. Jong-nun just pulled up, carrying a highly classified delivery. It is the exact ultra-rare gear that Bong specially requested. The system window flashes, revealing the item's epic stats. Behold, the Volcano Orc Leather Armor. This bad boy completely nullifies freezing environments and frostbite debuffs. Why? Because it constantly radiates the scorching residual heat of primordial flames. To put it in gamer terms, equip this overpowered masterpiece and you are practically immortal against the cold total game changer. Bong gives a massive shout out to Mr. John. John, being the ultimate bro, brushes it off. Just doing my job, he says. Supporting top tier players is literally what he lives for. Boom scene transition. Bong and his loyal squad step onto the 27th floor. The vibe. Absolute freezing tundra. Thank God Bong copped that volcano leather armor from John, or he would be turning into a human popsicle. Bong is just chilling entirely unbothered by the frostbite weather right now. I am currently grinding and covering 3 entirely different epic manhwa series all at the exact same time. And the reality is, all 3 of these absolute bangers are currently ongoing titles. This means the creators literally only feed us one single chapter every 7 days. So obviously, I cannot magically stretch one tiny weekly chapter into a whole 1-hour cinematic masterpiece. Therefore, if you just finished vibing with today's epic recap, do yourself a huge favor and go binge the rest of the absolute bangers waiting for you on the channel. Engaging with those videos genuinely carries the algorithm, and a massive shout out to all of you dropping those W comments every single day. If you live your entire life totally forgetting your true destiny, are you even truly alive? Let me repeat that. If you live forgetting your ultimate goal, are you even truly alive? What are you looking at, you absolute broke scrub? Seriously, the video is over. What are you still staring at?